All new today.
How can you sit there and say that?
She says their marriage is built on a lifetime of lies.
Elizabeth is a sociopath.
He told me he was dying of cancer.
Who's telling the truth?
He would call me Mexican, the fat-ass wife.
Or are they both liars?
Do you have cancer?
Who deserve to lie in the bed they've made?
You admit you lied to him. Why did you do that?
Now, he's accusing his wife of the ultimate sin.
Why did you make me the mother of your children? Why?
Have you been drinking today?
I don't like to be insulted, Dr. Phil.
You're lying
I
to me.
don't belong here.
Don't you insult me.
I'm done with this show.
You're not going to bully me. If you want to run, there's the runway. Take a walk. Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6.
If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by A, and roll A, check in. Go, Dr. Phil.
Thank you very much. Okay, now, when you're talking about marriage, in fact, relationships in general, if it's going to be successful, then it has to be based on truth, honesty, and openness, right? Look, it's a tough world out there, so we expect that when we get home, in our most intimate relationships, we can relax, and we don't have to watch our backs with those who should protect us rather than hurt us. Now, Elizabeth and Matt say their marriage is anything but a soft place to fall and anything but truthful and honest. Elizabeth says that Matt is a pathological liar and a con man, and that he has false claims, among other things, that he has cancer. Now, Matt says Elizabeth is a crazy one and goes so far as to accuse her of molesting her 12-year-old son. Are they both liars? Are they both sick and exploitive? Or is somebody here telling the truth? You're going to get a chance to decide. Take a look.
I married a con artist. I don't even know what the truth is with him. All I got was lies after lies, stories after stories.
Elizabeth needs help. Elizabeth is a sociopath. No guilt, no remorse. She is a pathological liar. There's no question in my mind.
Matthew and I met 3 years ago on the internet. Matthew told me he was a doctor. He claimed that he had millions of dollars.
Elizabeth told me she was a marine biologist, and then she told me she was a phone sex operator. This was all false.
He told me he was dying of cancer. That's how my husband conned me into marrying him. He was very persistent.
That is so false. Elizabeth was eager to be with me because I was financially well-to-do.
My husband said that he would pay my bills and take care of my son and I. He said that he owned a multi-million-dollar home in Florida, an SL Mercedes. None of that was true. Every time we would take trips to Florida, we never seemed to see the house because the keys were lost. He said that he misplaced them. We were living out of my car, sleeping at rest stops. There was no money, nothing existed.
Elizabeth believes what she wants to believe. I don't think my wife knows the difference between lies and the truth.
Matthew told me he was a cardiothoracic surgeon, but I never saw a paycheck. I would question him, may I see your diploma? And he got real defensive. When I questioned the cancer, he says that it's such a touchy subject. I don't want to talk about it. I'm too ill. The drinking was daily. I just thought that he's drinking to cope with the cancer.
Elizabeth will say I have an alcohol problem. That's her excuse. That's absolutely false.
He would take prescription pills like Vicodins and mix those two together. He would call me Mexican, constantly yell at me, you're a bitch. When I became his wife, I was the fat-ass wife. He was jealous of my son.
Elizabeth treats Alexander more like a husband than a son. They have slept together nude. There's definitely, in my opinion, molestation.
Matthew was so controlling. At 10 o'clock, we always had to have sex. After 3 years of marriage, we have 2 daughters now, living in a bedroom at my parents' home. I filed for divorce. Now, Matthew's living with a couple and still betraying that he's a doctor. He's conning this family, promising them millions of dollars and custody of our 2 daughters. There's no millions of dollars. My husband's not a doctor.
I graduated from the University of Michigan Medical School in 1996. I love her, but I think she's very unstable. That concerns me, and I want to get help for her.
I thought that he loved me, and what frightens me the most is the false allegations. I may lose my children because of that. And I'm a good mother.
Okay, you two have serious accusations towards one another. You agree that they're serious, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have 2 children together.
Yes, sir.
You believe she's been sexually inappropriate with her teenage son.
Yes, sir.
How can you sit there and say that? If I molested my son, then why did you make me the mother of your 2 children? Why? Speechless, huh? Because everything that comes out of that mouth is a lie.
You don't think it's a lie at all, do you? I mean, you believe she's been inappropriate.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when we were living out of my car and we were going city to city, state to state, you never allowed Alexander and I to be alone together. We were constantly, when we slept at motels, when you were ready to sleep in a motel and not in the car, you had to sleep in the middle of us, holding our hands.
Is that because you were concerned about what she might do?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You guys met on the internet, right?
Yes.
sir.
Did she lie to you from the beginning?
Yes, sir.
What did she say to you?
You were a marine biologist, a phone sex operator.
No,
you
no,
were
no.
in a may I talk? In a relationship with a woman
No,
who had the same vehicle that I had.
no,
That's not true.
no. Okay, I did lie that I was a marine biologist. I did lie about that, but he knew
Why did you
within
do
a
that?
week somebody to notice me. But within a week or two, us speaking to one another, he asked me, and I told him the truth. I told him, I said, yes, I did lie. You kept questioning me. Are you really one? Are you really one? And I said, you know what, Matthew, I'm truly sorry. I did lie. And you forgave me for that.
Yes, I did.
All right, so you admit you lied up front to him.
Yes, I did. And within a week or two when we were talking on the phone, because we were talking every day and every night, I told him the truth. I wasn't...
And how long did y'all know each other before you got married?
About 3.5 weeks.
No,
About 3
no, 3.5 months.
The whole point here is we want to get down to the truth here because there are children involved,
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
mean, there are children involved. So we want to get down to the truth here. Do you intend to be honest with the questions that I ask you today?
Yes.
All right. Do you intend to be honest with the questions I
Absolutely.
ask you today? All right. There are more accusations between these two. There's been mudslinging for a long time, which is good for nobody. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Matthew got physical. He slapped my lower forearm. I forgave him because I felt that I had to as a wife.
Elizabeth has tried to have me arrested 4 times for domestic abuse. Every time the police would come, they think my wife's crazy. I am a 3rd-degree black belt. They know if I hit anybody, there'd be signs of damage. There's no sign of it. I would never touch a woman.
Matthew is very controlling. I wasn't allowed to leave his sight. I couldn't take a shower by myself. He would take a shower with me. I was never allowed to be alone with my son. My husband would tell me when to eat and what shows I was allowed to watch. When it was time to have sex, I had sex.
Elizabeth never feels any guilt. She believes what she wants to believe.
Okay, I'm back with Matthew and Elizabeth. Now, right now, they are not living together. There are accusations going both ways. Elizabeth says that Matt is a pathological liar, a con man, an alcoholic, a pill popper. They told Elizabeth he had a liver tumor, and he did that to get her to marry him. Matt says that is absolutely not true, that she is a liar and a sociopath and has molested her 12-year-old son. Now, I've been asking Elizabeth questions, and she has told lies in this relationship, and she has admitted that. Now, I have some questions for you. First off, have you been drinking today?
No.
You haven't had anything to drink today?
No.
Because you kind of smelled like it when I met you.
Wow, I'm surprised. No.
Yeah, maybe it's your cologne.
I don't like to be insulted, Dr. Phil. Okay.
Might want to change cologne. I'm telling you, it may be your cologne. You said you graduated from Michigan Medical School in 1996.
Correct.
And you did your residency in internal medicine at St. Joseph's Hospital?
University of Michigan and St. Joseph
In
Hospital.
St. Joseph's? Okay. I assume you knew Giles Voyle.
Of course.
And who is he?
Internal medicine. Head of internal medicine.
Well, actually, he's not. He was the dean of the medical school.
I disagree with that.
The University of Michigan has it wrong then, because they have him as the dean
If
of the
I'm going
medical
to be
school.
laughed at, then I don't belong here.
Let me tell you something. I always treat people with dignity and respect, and I expect nothing less back from you. Okay, so I expect if I ask you a question, you at least tell me the truth.
Okay.
Now, we've talked to the University of Michigan. We've talked to University of Michigan Medical School. We've talked to St. Joseph's, and there is absolutely no record of you ever attending that medical school, of you ever graduating from that medical school, or you ever doing residency at St. Joseph's. You hold no medical license anywhere in the world.
No, I do not know.
So why do you say you graduated from that medical school but you know you didn't?
But that's not true.
How did they miss you? I mean, seriously, how did they miss you? You were there for
I'm
4
glad
years.
This is humorous, and I'm glad this is an entertaining show, and this is enjoyable.
That doesn't answer the question.
Sure.
I have no control over what these people say or do.
Okay.
And don't you insult me by suggesting that this is all about entertainment. I'm here in the interest of your daughters.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
I'm here in the interest of your daughters. And if you care about those daughters, then you'll stop this manipulative crap and talk to me man to man. Did you graduate from medical
Yes,
school?
I did.
Why do they not have a record of it?
I did not want my wife doing anything to destroy me. It's very easy. A Medicaid billing number, DEA number, it's very easy to find something out.
Are you saying that you gave her the wrong medical school because you don't want her having the ability?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you did go to medical school, but not Michigan.
Correct.
Where did you go to medical school?
I am not going to reveal that in front of my wife. I'm sorry.
Okay,
That's not what
so
I'm here for.
you always, when we were on the internet and talking, and you made me always tell the truth with everything, and I did. I did tell you the truth. Okay, yes, I threw in the phone sex operator thing because you kept throwing your ex-girlfriend in my face because she was a stripper and she was a size 2 and she was a double D. And when you're getting compared to that, that's disrespectful. And I wanted you to feel my pain, so I made something up. And I lied, and you know that.
All right, hold on. The next question I've got is obviously very serious. And I hope the answer is no. I mean, I hope and pray the answer is no. But do you have cancer?
I have pancreatic cancer.
As the
yes.
mother, as the father of these daughters, I think the mother's entitled to know the truth about
My
this.
attorney
because
advised me that can go
depends on
against
what's
me for
gonna happen.
custody. My attorney advised me, and you can put him on the phone. I have to play that down because I can hurt my case, and he is available for you on the phone.
Because you have
24/7.
promised a family that is sitting here today. You are promising them our children, because I'm sorry about the family that they lost a son a year ago. But how can you promise our 2 little girls, our daughters that we have together, Matthew? How can you promise this family? Our daughters when you die, when you're not dying.
Let me ask you a question in
No,
front of
I'm a
Dr.
good
Phil.
mom.
Outside of the courthouse, you said I can
Yes.
see my girls anytime. We went upstairs.
I told you,
the
you
district
can
attorney-
see the girls anytime, Matthew, as long as you don't drink.
The district attorney offered you $600 more a month child support.
Lie.
Under the condition.
False.
You said you would accept the money. I asked to see my children for 2 hours with you there. And one day during Thanksgiving, you denied it. District attorney and my attorney on that phone will verify that. Please.
All right, next we're going to meet the people who took Matt into their home. And we're going to add them to the mix when we come back. Thank you, sir. I'll bring them down. I'll bring them down there with you.
3 weeks after my daughter was born, Matthew was very insistent in having sex. He would tell me, let's have another baby. I was against it. He just told me that since he's a doctor, he would take care of me.
That is so false. I did not pressure her to have children. She wanted to have children.
And later,
I volunteered to take the polygraph test because I want to be able to prove that I am a good mother and I do not neglect my children.
I am hoping this test, I'm not hoping, I will guarantee this test will prove that I'm telling the truth and why my daughters need to be with me and not their mother.
Matthew has convinced Randy and Rhonda, who he's living with, that his father has died and his mother has dementia and that our children lived in a very dangerous environment, and that my father was in the Mexican mafia. Matthew is lying to the family just like all the lies that he's told me.
All right, Randy and Rhonda are a married couple that basically took Matt in, and they believe that they are caring for him through what may be the last phase of his life, in that he has cancer. Let's take a look.
Matt's a mixture between a brother and a son.
Just love them. When you love someone, you just do whatever you can to help them. I met Matt a year ago.
He talked to Rhonda a lot about the death of our son. We got to know Matt as we were going through the process of grieving.
About 4 months ago, Matt told us about Elizabeth leaving him. He was pretty heartbroken.
He wasn't eating, so we brought him in and tried to nurse him back to health.
We were like, come to our house and be a part of our family, and we'll help you through this. Elizabeth is alleging that Matt and I are having an affair, using drugs. She's come up with some really crazy things, and she's very unstable.
Being in Elizabeth's house, the kids may be in danger of child abuse.
I would like to get the kids out of the house and make sure that they're safe.
I feel like the children do belong with Matthew.
We did have an empty space losing my son. And Matt came in, and we all accepted him and loved him, and it hurts us when he's being hurt. I don't want to see him hurt anymore.
Do you call them Mom and Dad?
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
I'm sorry. This is...
Okay. Randy, Rhonda, you've been listening to what's going on here. How do you feel about this process?
It's tough to hear all these things that are going on. We were just trying to help Matthew, when we first met him.
Do you feel like he's been honest with you?
We didn't have any other reason why not to.
Did you lose your dad 3 weeks ago?
That I will not discuss.
Did he tell you he lost his dad
Asked me not to discuss
3
him.
weeks ago?
That's what we heard.
Did
Okay.
you attend a funeral?
We didn't go.
Because it didn't
It was far
exist.
away.
That is something my mother asked me not to discuss, and she's going to go by her middle name, Lee, when you put her on the phone.
Yeah. Lee, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Lee, did you lose your husband 3 weeks ago to death?
No, I didn't. He is alive and well.
Okay. Randy, Rhonda, he told you that he passed away 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and there was a funeral and everything. We just didn't go.
Why did you tell him that he
Who
died?
told me that?
Pardon me?
Who told me that, Mom?
I don't know, Matt. I don't know.
To your knowledge, is your son a physician?
He's not a physician. He attended college, to my knowledge.
So he did not go to medical school, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, he did not go.
Wayne State Medical School is where I attended, and I've told people that.
Did he tell you that he was worth millions of dollars?
Yeah, he said that before. Yeah.
And that you would inherit that when he dies?
We drew the will up, but the will was for what his wishes were.
Is that true? Are you worth millions of dollars?
You know what? I don't have to admit that. My attorney, you put my attorney on the phone, I do not have to admit that.
Well, you don't have to admit anything. I'm just asking you.
I cannot answer that question.
Yeah. Did you file for bankruptcy in 2004?
No, I did not. Well, yes, I did. I take that back.
The records show that you filed for bankruptcy and
I eliminated that. I eliminated that.
You showed a net worth of $3,800 and bills of $49,000.
That's not true.
Well, okay. Were y'all aware of that?
No, I wasn't.
I was just asking you the truth. I mean, don't you want to know the truth, right?
That's why we're here.
It's obvious to me, Dr. Phil, you're on my wife's side, and that's okay. That's okay.
He's not in on anybody's
It's okay.
side, Matthew.
I expected this.
There's your side, there's your wife's side, and there's the children's side. And make no mistake, I'm on the children's side. And if you care about them as their father, you would support me in doing that. I am asking questions on their behalf. I'm asking questions to get to the truth, Matthew.
Have you read the allegations from my mother and myself against this woman?
Yes, I have.
Okay, what's more important? You want to bring up my financial, my education. Okay, I know what I am. I'm not as wealthy as you. Okay?
What?
Makes for a good show, doesn't it?
What I'm trying to do...
You're a father, correct?
I am a father, yes.
You read those allegations. What would you do, sir?
I would be very, very concerned, but I don't think I would respond by creating a fantasy life, and I'm very concerned that you are exploiting these people if you're not telling them the truth. If you're telling them the truth and they say they care about you and want to support you, then God bless you for doing that, and I'm glad that you have these friends and supporters. But if you're misleading them, if you're giving them false information, then you owe them the truth. You owe her the truth.
I don't owe her anything. I owe her nothing.
Why? Why would you not owe the mother of your children anything?
Deceptive. Because she's deceptive.
These two did take a lie detector test on some critical issues. I don't know what the results are, but I'm going to find out with you when we come back, and hopefully that's going to shed some very clear light on what's happening here.
I want to prove that I am a good mother and I do not neglect my children.
I hope a lot of your questions are about my wife, the way she's treated me, treated her son.
Actually, the questions are about you.
It is very difficult to tell if my wife is telling me the truth or lying to me. I'm glad we're doing a lie detector.
I don't even know what the truth is with him. All I got was lies after lies, stories after stories.
I'm really seeing this in black and white and thinking about this. I'm going to put the woman in jail is what I'm going to do.
There are serious allegations from both. Elizabeth had admitted that she lied to Matt in the beginning of the relationship, said she was a marine biologist and then subsequently a phone sex operator. Her husband, Matt, says that she has been sexually inappropriate with her 12-year-old son and that he is very concerned about that. In an effort to try to get to the bottom of these things, we asked them if they would take a lie detector test, which they both agreed to. Take a look.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jack Tremarco. Welcome to Beverly Hills.
Hi, nice to meet
And I'm
you.
going to be administering your polygraph test today.
Okay. I want to prove that I am a good mother and I do not neglect my children or molest my son. I am ready to take this test.
What I'd like to do is define the term touching for sexual purposes, and that term to me means the sexual excitement or sexual gratification of the person who's doing the touching, or the perceived sexual excitement or sexual gratification for the person receiving the touching. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever touched your son for sexual purposes?
No.
Since your marriage to Matt, have you ever touched your son for sexual purposes?
No.
Are you sure that I won't try to trick you on this test?
Yes.
Congratulations, you just had your first polygraph test.
I feel that the test went really well. I'm here to speak the truth. I hope that's what my results show.
I will guarantee this test will prove that I'm telling the truth and why my daughters need to be with me and not their mother. But just start, and if there's something I don't want to answer, I will just tell you.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a life-threatening condition?
That I will not answer. Could I test you on something when you ask me what my name is, and if I say that's false, would you let me see the reading and see that it's false?
No.
I hope a lot of your questions are about my wife, the way she's treated me, treated her son.
Actually, the questions are about you.
Why am I nervous about this when I'm telling the truth? Is that normal?
Yes. And of course, this measures the sweat gland activity. Okay, Matthew, I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready.
Feet flat on the floor, please. Try not to move. Are you sometimes known as doctor?
Yes.
Are you sure that I won't try to trick you on this test?
Yes.
Did you ever see Elizabeth touch her son for sexual purposes?
Yes, I did.
Answer is simple yes.
Yes.
Since your marriage to her, have you ever seen Elizabeth molest her son?
Yes.
That'll conclude the test. We'll get these charts faxed off to San Francisco tonight. They'll get scored, and Dr. Phil will have the results in the morning.
There were no questions I was uncomfortable with.
Matt was easily agitated. He just really didn't want to be here, like a cat on a hot tin roof. He never relaxed. He never let down his guard.
I definitely feel relieved to have it.
Okay. Let's just get right to it. Elizabeth, the first question you were asked on the polygraph was, have you ever touched your son for sexual purposes? You said no, and the result is that there was no deception in that answer, that is a truthful answer. The second question is, have you ever touched your son for sexual purposes since your marriage to Matthew? You said no, and there was no deception in that answer either. Matt, you were asked question number one, did you ever see Elizabeth touch your son for sexual purposes? You said yes, and the result is that that was deceitful. That is not a truthful response. Second question, since your marriage to her, have you ever seen Elizabeth molest her son? You said yes, and the result is that that was a deceptive response, that was not truthful. You were asked if you've ever been diagnosed with a life-threatening condition. You said you would not answer because your lawyer told you it would hurt your custody case. I just want to ask you, this says that you were deceitful when you said that you had seen her do these things. What do you say?
It's absolutely false.
This is Jack Tremarco. Jack is a former FBI agent and polygraph examiner.
Credentials, sure.
And he was former head of the FBI polygraph unit. You've given almost 3,000 polygraphs, Jack, is that
Almost 3,000, Doctor.
Almost 3,000 polygraphs. Do you have confidence in these results for both of these, or do you not?
I have absolute confidence in both results.
There was a court hearing last week, and we're going to find out what happened there and why Elizabeth accuses Matt of sleeping in bed with Rhonda and Randy, which, in his defense, he says did not happen. It's not true. We'll be right back.
Matthew has Randy and Rhonda so convinced that he's dying of cancer. He's so scared that he doesn't know when his last night is. He'll sleep in between the husband and the wife, or he'll sleep with the wife in the same bed with the husband in the next room.
My friends are helping me emotionally, spiritually. I need to be around people that I love. I can't do this alone. I cannot.
Here with Elizabeth and Matt. They just went to court for the first time to deal with the custody of their two precious young daughters. An argument ensues outside the courthouse, and Elizabeth confronts Matthew about Rhonda, who actually is present on the scene.
My husband and I have to appear for a child support hearing.
I want custody of my children because I feel that's a much safer environment being with me than with my wife.
The prayer I said this morning was, please God, protect me and my children from the evil that lurks in Matthew. Please bring me home to my children.
Not much happened. I have to pay her $600 and she will allow me no visitation.
When I walked outside the courthouse, I saw my husband with another woman. She is Rhonda, who he's living with.
You lay in the bed with her.
Right, that is not true.
That's not true.
Yes, he's slept in the bed with me.
I've never slept in bed with anybody except my wife.
Stop lying.
You're not dying of cancer, Matthew. You're saying about me that my parents are in the Mexican mafia. I did horrible things to my son. I neglect our daughters.
I took them out of a situation. You were drinking every day. You were popping pills, Matthew.
That's not true.
Matthew, I saw you.
I'm going to have so many witnesses that are saying my side, Elizabeth. My parents. Hey,
Yes, your
what they
parents.
saw.
Mentioning about your parents. You told this family that your parents are dying.
You know
your
what?
dad died.
I'm cutting tape because I'm done. Because you know what? That's
not-
something. You don't even know anything about my parents. They don't even talk
You know
to
what,
you.
Matthew?
They don't
You've
even
been
talk
married
to
to
you.
me for 3 years, and your whole life has been a secret. Why don't
You
you,
know
for
what?
once to be honest with me?
Why
Tell
don't-
me.
You know what? I'm done. And if you want me off the show, keep doing what you're doing. Because you know what? I'm
You
not
know,
going to be
Matthew, no,
discredited
that's
without
just,
my
I'm not
No more
discrediting
talking
you.
about my attorney here. No more.
Well, Randy, you and Rhonda don't dispute that y'all all sleep in the same bed, right?
Only when he's very distraught, just to comfort him, but it's not anything that, nothing like what we're being accused of doing.
No. I don't know what you're being accused of or what you're not, but let me be very clear so nobody misunderstands my position. I don't think you two are sexually involved with him at all. That's not what I am suggesting at all. And let me be very clear to everybody watching. That is not my implication. That's not what I think is going on here. I don't think that's happening at all. I don't know what you think or what you don't think, but I can tell you, I don't think that that's what's going on here at all.
But isn't this about the girls? I have not heard one thing about the girls. You know, Dr. Phil, it's your dance. This is your show.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Here's what I know. Here's what I know. And listen, you can get as indignant with me as you want to, my friend, but you've come in here and looked me in the eye and lied to me, and you are the father of these girls. You have a responsibility to put their interest ahead of your own. You sat there, I asked you 5 times, did you go to the University of Michigan Medical School?
Does
You
it
said,
matter where
yes,
I went?
I did. Yes, I did. Yes,
Where
I
did you go to
did.
school?
I said, you're lying to me. Have you told these people that you are worth millions of dollars and that you are going to make them beneficiaries of your estate
They are
and preyed upon their
beneficiaries of
good
my
wishes
estate, yeah.
and open their home to you? If that's what you're doing, then
that what it's
shame
about?
on you.
Not shame on me, shame on you.
Shame on you.
Is it about money? Not at all. Some people don't give a about money. Pardon my language.
And me?
Ah, you do.
No,
Some
Matthew.
people do.
Matthew, I lived out of my car with you.
For one day driving to Florida.
The exact same thing what these people have done.
You know what? I'm done with this show. Is that okay?
Okay, listen. If you want to turn tail and run, then turn tail and run. If the questions get hard, you want to run, there's the runway. Take off. Do what you want to do. This is about getting to the truth. This is about getting to the truth. You have been manipulating my staff, and you're not going to manipulate and bully me. If you don't want to be here, take a walk. If you want to deal with this, then deal with it. Look, I'm going to get to the truth here one way or another. I'm going to have some more questions for Matt when we come back.
What breaks my heart the most is that he's told me that he's always wanted a family, a wife, and children.
My wife, superficially, she's very nice, but she's very volatile. She will explode. My friends think my wife's mental state is very unstable. They think my wife's crazy.
Matthew comes across like a loving, caring person, but he really isn't. He's a bum and he'll always be a bum. He's a scam artist. He's a liar.
Matthew trying to take custody of the children, I think it's a joke. He can't even take care of himself.
He's an alcoholic. He's a pill popper. He is not going to take them away from here.
I don't know what you're thinking. He tells you he's got a $10 million house in Boca Raton. You go down there and he says, I forgot the keys, so you sleep in your car. I mean, come on. At some point, I mean, isn't a bell ringing somewhere? I think you need help. I think you need help. You have 2 little children that are depending on you as their biological father. You need to admit that you need help. And open yourself to that and get some help. I will offer to help you. I will try to arrange resources to help you.
I don't need that.
You don't need help. You think you're fine, you don't need help. Are you a liar?
Everybody lies.
Are you a con man?
No.
Matt, come on. You know, one lie covers up another and another and another. You did enroll at Wayne State in 1988 when you were 18 years old, but you didn't go to the medical school there.
That's not true.
While you and I were talking here, my researchers were talking to Wayne State. They said he did register here in 1988 in the undergraduate program, but he never registered in a medical school. Why would they say that, Matt? Jack, what'd you want to say?
Dr. Phil, yesterday when I was putting the cardio cuff on Matt's arm, I asked him what the name of the artery was that was going to be involved, and he didn't know.
How many times do I forget things, Randy? I will drop every case against her. She can have full custody. I'll never see my children again. I'll do that for you. How about that?
You're not going to do anything for me.
That's what I'm going to do, Elizabeth.
That's between you two.
Whatever man you meet can adopt my children. They're no longer mine. How about that? That's what I give you.
Well, I don't think he means that, and
You know what?
I
I'll
hope
put
you
it in
don't.
writing.
I hope you don't. Well,
I'll put it in writing.
Talk to your lawyer about that, because I think, no, seriously, you don't want to. You have a responsibility to these girls.
No, I don't.
You have
Not
a
anymore.
Yes, you do.
Not anymore.
So you're
Laura and
completely
Avery
honest?
are dead to me. I want nothing to do with them anymore.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm done. I'm done. And you are too.
Okay. So did you just say your children are dead to you?
To me, I have nothing to do with them except pay child support.
We'll be right back.
May I stand up or no?
Yeah. They'll come another way. Matt, right back to you.
I'm done. I hate her. I want nothing to do with her. Enjoy my children because she'll never see me again.
Okay, Randy, Rhonda, all I can do is alert both of you to be very, very careful here. You're good people. You don't deserve to be taken advantage of. Okay? I have said that this is a year that I am committed to common sense making a comeback in America. And we have got to use common sense as we go through our lives. You know, you got to ask yourself, if something doesn't make sense, it's probably because it doesn't make sense. And you can't make sense out of nonsense. If somebody tells you they got a $10 million home in Boca Raton and you get down there and say, well, I forgot the keys, we're going to have to sleep in the car at a rest stop, a warning bell ought to go off in your head. Common sense should tell you this doesn't add up. Ask yourself, what in your life are you ignoring common sense about? Go to drphil.com. We'll talk about this more. Thank you for being here today.
Today on the Dr. Phil Housewives Get Real Tuesday.
Michelle, you can't play the game that way or you are going to be alone for the rest of your life. You're shaking your head like I don't get it. Are you kidding me, Gloria?
The way Gloria treated Dr. Phil today was uncalled for.
I'm about to cry. I hate this.
Can you please refrain from cussing at him, really?
Oh, shut the up.
I want to slap the taste out of her mouth.
Then
I want to talk to this father that got this girl pregnant.
it's man to man.
What the hell are you doing getting pregnant? Were you having unprotected sex?
Plus, be there for the first ultrasound.
That's heart motion.
And the biggest question.
Are you going to get married? This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth? Let's do it. Well, the work with the Dr. Phil Housewives just goes on. I want to focus on the women's choices in men and how I think that affects the rest of their lives. Now, I want you to think about the men in your life and how they affect you, because I promise you they do. Now, today, we're going to meet Rachel's boyfriend, Angel. I'm going to hear what he has to say about getting Rachel pregnant, because I got to tell you, I have a problem with that. I think it is irresponsible. Plus, I invited a very special guest who's been anxious to meet the women. Here's what you need to know so you can get caught up for today.
Previously on the Dr. Phil Housewives.
My husband of 16 years finally admitted that he was having an affair.
That empty chair is for her husband. He is coming here today.
I hate you so much for what you've done to our family.
I believe you both need to be accountable for the 16 years where you didn't have sex. I think it takes two to tango.
It's always the one without a man giving the advice. It's like,
God, you know what?
Tango.
You really, really are nasty.
No, that's the truth.
I don't even understand what you're talking about.
Because you're so into yourself, you don't give it.
That's your reality?
It's the truth.
It's not the facts.
Yes, it is.
You don't know the
Calm
facts
down.
about
you're gonna calm
my
down.
life.
You're gonna calm down. I will drop you like a bad habit.
That's classy.
Oh, how classy are you?
Do you think this boyfriend of yours is the one?
I moved in with him.
I know you moved in with he and his parents. Apparently a real go-getter. You guys have no idea how much she has lied to y'all by omission.
I found out 2 weeks ago that I'm pregnant.
What?
Wow. I would love to be married one day. It's absolutely a dream of mine. It's been about 1.5 years since I've gone on an actual date.
I just don't think I want to handle any more rejection.
My own father doesn't love me. How's anyone else?
Okay, do you know how excited I am to be here?
You are so cute.
You're living.
I've watched every minute of every tape of every day you spent with Philip, and I'm just going to have to tell you I'm addicted. I'm addicted. Like, I was just like, I got to meet these women. I have to. I feel like I know all of you so well, and I just want to say I'm very proud of you. I think you've all worked really, really hard. Are you just as happy and proud of yourselves?
Oh, yeah. My whole life has changed. I finally realized I want a husband. I want a family. Like, it clicked to me. I know what I want now.
You know, Philip's been on the air like 9 years, and I've seen a lot of women, especially a lot of people, get a lot of opportunity to do something like this with him. And man, a large number, 99%, really know when to grab on and just take in everything they can.
When I first came here, I'm looking at, you know, I don't want to disrespect your husband, but...
Girls, go ahead.
I'm like, who is this guy to tell me I need to change? There's nothing wrong with me. And then, like, honestly, like, opening up to him and him not being so judgmental has really, like, helped me become a better person. I stand up for myself, well, I always did, but now it's like...
Yes, you do stand up for yourself. Remember, I've been watching. Love it. Talk about Philip. Now, is he doing everything that you need to do, or is there something you need from him you haven't told him? Well, I just really don't want y'all to miss your opportunity with him one-on-one. And so really, tell him what you need. Work with him.
I don't know what questions to ask him. I'm so lost. I don't know what to ask him.
Start right there. Tell him. Let him help you. He can do it.
Yeah.
Use him. Tell him you're lost. Will you do that?
Yeah.
Look what the cat did.
Yeah, look what the cat did.
My ears are burning.
Have you been listening?
Some.
I don't know if you heard, because I'm sure you weren't back there listening.
We're
but
good. We're good.
I think we have an agreement, right?
Yeah.
That you're going to tell him. Girls, thank you very much for your time.
you.
And for the opportunity to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
All right. So what'd you think of Robin?
I loved her. She's so cute.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You said it made you think about being married.
I've been thinking about it all week. I want that part of my life. And
So
I'm like,
what are you willing to do to get that? I mean, that's the question,
no,
right?
you're right, yeah.
You say you want to be married with kids, then I want you to be married with kids. I know, as sure as I'm sitting here, that what you're doing now will not generate that result in your life.
So how many people do I need to date a week, or what do I need to do?
You know how many you date and how long you do it? Until.
Okay. And I just don't know how to do it.
She'll show you. She talked about this on tape.
Michelle changing her date 3 times? That's absurd.
Girl cancels on me 3 times. Do not let the door hit you in the ass. I'm gone.
I think Michelle's making excuses. Excuses are actually her wall of protection.
He kept like acting weird about the times, and he said that thing, and it pissed me off.
I could totally teach Michelle my philosophy when it comes to men. You have to go through 1,000,000 to get that 1 in 1,000,000. So let loose, let her hair down, and climb over that wall with a short skirt. And just be ready, because when you're ready, I'm there for you, girl. Let's go out, let's party, let's get some free drinks on the men, and some food.
You're hilarious.
Some free drinks and some food.
You're hilarious. That's how you gotta do it.
But you know what I like about what she said?
She's having fun.
That's exactly right. She just said, you know what? The journey itself can be fun as well as getting to the destination.
Well,
you feel rejected from the key man in your life.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about your dad. The good news is it's not about you. That's about him. The bad news is it's not about you. And the reason that's bad news is since you didn't cause it, you can't fix it. But you have taken this on personally. You've said, I know the pain of rejection, particularly from a male, and I don't want to be in that situation again. You can't play the game that way, or you are going to be alone for the rest of your life.
I'm not going to do that, though. I'm not going to live my life like that.
You have to decide you're not going to do it and behave your way out of it. You have the ability to give. You have the ability to commit. You have the ability to care. You have all of those things. Now, does that mean somebody's not going to break your heart? No. There are no guarantees. But you don't want to spend your life sitting on the sidelines.
No.
If you knew, Jennifer, if you knew back then what you know now, that he was going to cheat on you, that he was going to break your heart, that he was going to make a mockery of what you called a marriage, I'm guessing that because of the children, that this is a journey you would still embark on.
The only thing good that's come out of my marriage is my son. That's my life.
How big a deal is that?
That's huge. That's huge.
Would you go through this for that? To have
yeah,
that
I would go through
child?
any. Absolutely.
Of course you would. The difference is you should have thrown the flag on this marriage years ago.
Right.
I mean, after 2 or 3 years of no sex with your husband, instead, you just kind of, you know, rocked along. Weeks turned into months, months turned into years, and here you sit. Why did you tell Robin you're lost?
Coming up.
I don't feel like there's anything out there for me. What am I supposed to do? I'm just so scared. I'm so scared. I've never been so scared in my life.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I had a drug problem, but I've been clean for 4 months. I want my mom to trust me.
You're not worthy of trust. You're doing Xanax, cocaine, and marijuana. Other than that, you're clean.
The heartbreaking reason for one teen's drug use.
I just need to know what the truth is.
And another teen's secret life.
You want to tell your parents.
I'm sick of living a lie.
Teenage confessions.
The reason I brought you here is...
That's tomorrow. We now return to the Dr. Phil Housewives Get Real Tuesday.
Why did you tell Robin you're lost?
I feel like I'm wasting my opportunity with you because I don't know what questions to ask. I envy Michelle.
You envy me.
I envy your life so much. You're independent. You've done a great job. You really have.
I think you always want what you don't have.
That is not true, what you just said.
What?
You always want what you don't have. You want what you have. You just want more, and that's okay.
That's true.
And what I'm saying to all of y'all is we don't know how much time we have left together. Don't you waste a minute of it. You're wasting time for you personally.
I agree, and I don't want to waste time. That's the point. I want to know what to ask you. I want to know, you know, my emotions are everywhere.
If you were in her situation where you didn't need one thing from that man, not a roof, not a paycheck, not child support, would you be gone? Are you staying because you believe that you're 50 and have no options?
Yes. Yes.
But for that,
yes,
you would tell him he had his chance, hit
kiss
the
my
road.
ass.
Then own that.
You're scared. It's scary.
That's what I mean about wasting time. Because I'm going to tell you what I see when I look at you. I see somebody that is, I don't know, spent how many years in a marriage?
16.
Settling for what you didn't want.
Yeah.
And I think you are so damn mad at yourself
I'm furious.
that you could absolutely scream. You're mad at him, but you look back and say, what in the hell was I thinking?
Oh, I'm mad at myself.
I settled for what I didn't want.
Yeah.
And what makes it even worse is I'm doing it again because I'm scared to death. If I even say it out loud, then I'm alone.
Yep.
I'm alone because he ain't much, but he's all I got.
Yeah.
Now, how come I know that and you're not saying it?
Because it's, okay, I don't want to be alone. I really don't. And I see what you're going through at 30. And I'm 50 and I'm out of shape. I don't have a career. I don't have a bank account. I don't have anything. And if I leave, I'm homeless, okay? I don't have many options.
Jennifer's trapped because she want to be trapped. If you're unhappy, pack your up and go. I understand you don't want to be homeless, but you have family. You have us, friends.
If I don't have to deal with it, then I can just keep going.
That's what you did, right? How many years were you married?
16.
How long's it been since he came to you and wanted to have sex with you before you caught him cheating?
We stopped having sex the day I learned I was pregnant. 6 days after we were married.
15 years you walked around that house feeling rejected.
I thought that I was just so unattractive. I don't feel like there's anything out there for me. What am I supposed to do? I don't have any money. I don't have a place to go. I have kids I'm raising. You bet you're grateful he's still there. Well, I got these kids. Yes.
How's he treating you?
Better than he's ever treated me.
How's he treating you?
But that's not saying a lot, is it?
No?
No, he's treating me.
No, I mean, this is not about set your standards really low, shoot at the curb, and everything else is gravy. Are you kidding me?
Where's your
What
ring
is
at?
that? It's better than he wouldn't touch you for 15 years? Does that mean he pats you on the back when you go by in the hall? What does it mean he's treating you better than he ever has?
That's not even what I care about anymore.
You turn your back on yourself, but there are limits.
Yeah.
Because there's limits to just how much of this charade you're willing to play.
It's hard for me to constantly say I love you, and he'll call me these cutesy little names now, and I just want to tell him to shove it. Yeah.
Why?
It just seems so phony, you know? It's like, you don't really feel that way about me. I haven't changed. I'm so scared. I've never been so scared in my life.
Then that's where you begin. You look at me and you say, Dr. Phil, I am so scared, I don't even want to say out loud what my reality is. Do you see anybody here running away?
No, but these people, oh my God, I know that they're all bonded, they're having a great time together, and I don't feel part of it because I don't feel happy.
I tried to bond with you, but I'm gonna be
sweetie,
honest,
no, you are great.
I just want to put that, I have tried to bond with you, but you're very close.
Yeah,
You won't allow anyone to get to you. So I have reached out to you.
Oh, you have, and you've been wonderful. And it's not you, it's me again. I mean, I'm just so miserable. And these people are getting better, and I don't want to bring them down.
In your world, right now, is there any other time, any other place you go where you have this much focus and this much offer for help?
No. No.
Then isn't this exactly the place to be talking about this? Because we're here together, I don't believe anybody can get what they need if everybody else doesn't get what they need.
Dr. Phil, I would like you to tell me what you think I'm not putting on the table.
Coming up.
Gloria, I'm playing you at your own game.
I am not playing a game here.
I'm not interested in this exchange.
I'm not Gandhi. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not Mother Teresa. I don't have complete control. I don't have this problem in my real life.
The last time you saw Alexandra.
Have you remained 100% drug-free during this pregnancy?
I've been drug-free.
Her world was unraveling.
Can you bring somebody in here to escort my mom out?
The baby was born addicted to drugs. Now, you're broke, you're homeless, you've lost your children, and even Tony's gone. What the hell happened?
Coming next week. We now return to the Dr. Phil Housewives Get Real Tuesday.
Dr. Phil, I would like you to tell me what you think I'm not putting on the table.
I have some ideas about that, but I would rather you tell me than me tell you. What I know is that you seem to go to great lengths to keep the focus off of what you need.
I think it's because the dynamics with some of the women in here became very unsafe for me. And I did not feel comfortable.
What's your ownership in that?
I own some of it. I certainly don't own all of it.
Of course you don't, but there are no victims. I mean, everybody has...
I'm not a victim. I'm just telling you, it didn't feel safe.
Everybody has a role.
I got you. I'm very sensitive, and if I'm going to put my stuff on the table, what it felt like to be married for 14 years, and how lonely and scared I was leaving, and how a lot of men have died in my life. I didn't feel comfortable laying all that on the table when everything I said there was a really negative reaction to. I didn't feel like I would get the support.
But Gloria, I didn't say, oh, Gloria, I'm putting my foot. I was like, oh my God, that's sad. Every time when we gave you a negative reaction is because your comments were negative.
I honestly don't believe that I am 100% responsible for eliciting some of the reactions.
Okay, I want to play a piece of tape.
I was stretching. I'd put my legs up on the counter because it's hip height. Kim walked in the room and insulted me for no reason.
Why do you put your feet on the counter? That's gross.
And I thought, well, if we're going to talk about the crimes we're committing in our lives, mine's pretty benign.
Why don't you raise your kids properly, Kim? That's gross.
I put my feet on the counter, but you don't raise your kids.
I think she's just a very envious person. And
see, it's like, how could I possibly put my stuff on the table when I'm so misunderstood?
I just find
this is my
disturbed person.
But
you
this
stir
is
more
this
drama
is my
than
point.
you do put anything on the table.
Everything
I've been
here...
trying with you, Alana. I don't know why you just
Okay, everybody
resist
stop.
and attack me.
I didn't attack you. I just said you put up more drama.
You just.
There's
Try not using the
She's
you.
bipolar.
Okay,
Just
stop.
diagnose her.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Some way or another, we always talk about in-the-moment conflict and drama instead of what really is important to you.
Did you hear what both these women just said about me?
Yeah, and I
Do you think it feels safe to me to put my feelings on the floor when I was just called bipolar, loves the drama, disturbed, envious?
But we all get...
We called everybody
You
something in this
insulted
room.
everybody in this room.
I think this is a comfort zone, not just for you, but for the whole group. Let's just snipe back and forth. And now, come on. Well, now, you're shaking your head like I don't get it. Are you kidding me, Gloria? You're talking to this woman who comes in and takes a shot at you for putting your foot on the counter or something like that, and you go for the juggler in response. Juggler is you're talking about this. How about the way you raise your kids laying in bed and not taking care of them? Do you take any responsibility for just going for the most hurtful juggler you can if somebody pushes on you?
Rarely. I go below the belt rarely.
Oh.
Yeah.
We should play the tapes.
Yeah, you need to see yourself.
Okay, you know what? I believe that what they're perceiving as going below the jugular is sometimes when I point out my perception about them or just give my insight.
Answer this honestly. When you say to her, okay, you want to criticize where I'm putting my foot, I'm going to tell you what a no-good, rotten, irresponsible mother you are. What response do you predict when you say that?
A gnarly negative one. What do you think? I don't think she's going to say, thanks for saying that, Gloria. Let's work this out.
Okay, so you do then know and acknowledge that you are taking it over the cliff when you say that.
It will, but I don't. That was a moment, and I don't do that all the time. I had been fed up, and she walked in. I was doing my thing. I had made coffee for everybody, and has to shoot a negative comment at me.
It wasn't negative.
Really?
Like, it wasn't.
Gross. Why is your feet on the counter?
You have no home training. Who puts their feet on the counter that people eat off of?
Yeah, it wasn't just me. I mean, it was discussed by other women. I was just the one that brought it up.
But my point is, you say the dynamic here has been very combative with some of the people here. And I ask you, how much of that do you take responsibility for?
I think some people found their voice when Alana was very judgmental. Other people jumped in, and it became like a gang mentality.
So you think I influenced the way they think about you? No.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Gloria, I'm playing you at your own game. You don't like it.
I'm not playing a game
It's
here.
a game you're playing, and guess what? I figured it out, so I'm playing the same game you play with me.
It's exhausting.
Okay, but wait a minute.
It's exhausting.
See, this is my point. I'm not interested in this exchange.
Nor am I.
I'm not interested in it, but you engage in it. You engage in it every time. And
That's why I shut up, Dr. Phil, so I don't have to engage in it.
It's not
Because
about
no, I don't have complete control. I'm not Gandhi. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not Mother Teresa. I don't have complete control. And when she says about me, it pisses me off.
You say
so if I just shut up, then they don't say about me. I don't have this problem in my real life.
So you're two people then? So you're this person here, and then you're somebody else when you leave?
No, if I leave and I'm in a room full of
Okay, the world is
hostile...
not like that, though. The world is
God,
not
I love it when you tell me what the world's about, Rachel.
Because,
I love
wake
it.
up.
I love it.
Wake
Genius.
up. The world is not all like pillows
Guess
and
what?
flowers and rainbows.
When you're 45 years old and you've made your life and you make your own decisions
I have made
and you
my
become
life now.
successful,
Just because I'm not
you get to
45,
choose
just
who
because
is
I'm not 50
around
years
you.
old or however old you are, doesn't mean I have to live my life.
I have created a life. You know what? Life is what you create it, Rachel.
Exactly. So create this. That's what I'm saying to you.
Okay, that was insightful.
do you believe that you are condescending to her?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what do you expect the result of that to be?
More argument. I'm not stupid.
But then why do you do it? What's the point? What do you gain from it?
Nothing,
Again, be
because
selfish.
I get in the moment and I get reactive.
People don't do things in a pattern if they don't get a payoff for it. Listen to what I said. You don't do things in a pattern if you don't get a payoff for it. What is your payoff?
Coming up.
I'm about to cry. I hate this.
Can you please refrain from cussing at him? Really, this is
shut the up.
We now return to the Dr. Phil Housewives Get Real Tuesday.
Do you believe that you are condescending to her?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what do you expect the result of that to be?
More argument. I'm not stupid.
But then why do you do it? What is your payoff?
What's my payoff right now? There isn't one. I'm about to cry. I hate this.
That's not true. You wouldn't do it.
I hate this.
You wouldn't say things to her to level her. You wouldn't say things to her to condescend her if you weren't getting a payoff for it. Is it?
No, there's no
payoff.
There is no, what's the payoff? I'm sitting here feeling miserable. What's the payoff?
Well,
you tell me.
Okay.
Can you please refrain from cussing at him? Really, this is a distinct. Because you're pissing me off. You don't talk to people like that.
I am not disrespecting Dr. Phil.
He doesn't deserve it, and that's really pissing me off. The way Gloria treated Dr. Phil today was uncalled for. You have the kindest man I've ever met treat you with nothing but dignity and respect, and then you turn and cuss at him? I mean, wow. I want to slap the taste out of her mouth.
You asked me to tell you what's the payoff. Number one, we're not talking about what really matters to you. Number two,
what really matters to me?
Maybe it's a feeling of power that you get from venting.
No, no, no. I feel actually embarrassed, humiliated, weak.
Look, Gloria, you don't go stick your hand in a blender except once.
Dr. Phil, I
because
don't
if it
feel
hurts, you don't do it.
From it. I don't like the behavior in myself. I don't like these women. I don't trust these women, some of these women, not all of these women. And I'm uncomfortable around them. I can't talk about the things that really, really hurt me. It's not safe.
You choose to condescend to her because she is young and naive in your view.
Because she's not making any sense to me.
I'm not, it doesn't matter. You don't listen anyways. It's like talking to a brick wall.
Right. So therefore, she has no value.
I didn't say she doesn't have any value.
You didn't let me finish the sentence. She has no value in talking to you about how the world works. I mean, that's the tone that I get, is don't tell me. I've been out there in the world. I'm a single mother fighting my way through, doing the battles, and you're going to tell me about life? Shut up.
That's absolutely 100% what I think.
Again, what do you expect her energy for you to be?
Okay, well, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to contribute to a few people here, so therefore the whole project's going to go down the drain.
Oh, please, please.
No,
please.
Can we gain from everybody we meet in life? Absolutely. I've learned from Rachel, well, kind of what not to do. I'm not going to trust the women that I don't trust here. It's not going to change. I'm just done.
Did it ever occur to you that the common denominator to every one of these conflicts is you?
I'm not saying I'm a victim here. I'm not a victim here. I'm accountable.
I don't want you to give your power away and check your agenda off because of a dynamic you've created with some of these people in this room.
I'm not.
I was afraid that Dr. Phil wasn't going to ever address Gloria about her craziness, and he did today, and I feel much better, but she doesn't listen. I think that you're not balanced. You need to balance and be calm. You want to talk to everybody about their spirituality and all that stuff. You have the most negative energy I've ever seen in somebody.
Do you guys resent that I'm having a conversation with Dr. Phil?
Coming up.
Angel's here. I want us to take just a minute to talk to this father that got this girl pregnant.
We now return to the Dr. Phil Housewives Get Real Tuesday.
I see how tough it is You know, you're basically a single mother right now. You're a single mother right now, and you're getting ready to be.
No, I'm not.
Why? Because you're going to get married?
In the future, yeah.
To a kid living with his parents.
We're not living there anymore. We're in the process of moving.
Where are you
out.
living now?
Well, yes, we are living there.
So
But
what you said isn't true. You are living there.
we are. Yes, we are. But I'm moving forward. Like, I know it's going to be hard. But I'm...
Well, he's here, you know, Angel's here. I want us to take just a minute to talk to this father that got this girl pregnant. How you doing?
Good, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. Dr. Phil.
Angela.
Have a seat.
Hey, baby. I was like gearing up, like, okay, what's going on today? You know, like, ooh, Angel. But actually, when he came out, I seen a little young boy, defenseless, helpless.
Has she told you what my position was on her being pregnant?
Yeah,
and you getting her pregnant?
Yeah, she's mentioned that, and
what'd she mention?
That you, I guess, don't approve of it, and that I should have been more responsible with my thinking. And...
Yeah, because I'll just summarize it for you. I think it's a higher form of irresponsible insanity for somebody that has no career living with their parents to get somebody that has no career living with you with their parents to get pregnant. I mean, in this day and time with the birth control we have, the awarenesses and education that we have, what the hell are you doing getting pregnant?
We weren't trying to be irresponsible. We were just...
You just were. So you allowed him to have unprotected sex with you, knowing that you very likely could and would get pregnant.
Yeah, I think because I've always been responsible. Now I wasn't, because I taught like safe sex in college. I worked with Planned Parenthood, so I know all about birth control and all that. I was an advocate for them, so I know, and I wasn't, because I was okay if I became a mom.
Well, the cobbler's children have no shoes, I guess.
Well, I was okay if it happened, it happened. Like, so I was okay if I got pregnant, I got pregnant.
You were?
Yeah. I know right now it sucks and I make no money, but I know there's an end result out there, and that's why it's like, I'm not stuck there.
You're okay with getting pregnant? I mean, does it ever occur to you that you say, okay, let me get some financial stability. Let me get some emotional stability. Let me get a relationship where we've planned and we've gone through premarital counseling and we've gotten married and we've created a household, and then have a child instead of just getting knocked up? Come on.
That would have been a lot better.
I mean, what happened to common sense?
Now we are taking full responsibility for our actions. We don't want...
What does that mean, you taking full responsibility? That's real nice if you say it real fast, but what does that mean?
I'm not saying I have the greatest job. I'm not saying that I make the biggest, paycheck, but I'm doing what I can at this very moment. That's what a man does, and I love her, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well,
I don't have
I can't tell you how refreshing it is to me that you have acknowledged this, that you're there with her, that you're stepping up and saying, you're not pregnant, we are pregnant. But answer me this, as you think about what stretches ahead, are you just scared to the point of being spitless? Are you just cottonmouth scared about this?
I'm not scared, but I mean,
You don't know what you're getting into. I don't know what you can do. That remains to be seen. I'm pulling for you. But what I know is what you did, which was irresponsible. You say in a moment of passion or whatever, I get it, but that moment's getting ready to last you the rest of your life. If you're not in a situation to offer this child stability, that was your job to do. You didn't do it. So now you got to work double time to create it now. Are you going to get married?
Coming up.
We got you with a headhunter. How do y'all think she did in this first interview?
That whole interview was horrible.
Was horrible?
We now return to the Dr. Phil Housewives Get Real Tuesday.
Are you going to get married?
I do want to get married. That's our next step.
And that baby deserves the best possible care, which is why we set you up with Dr. Masterson, right?
Well, right now we're actually going to my first gynecologist appointment to talk about the baby and see how that's going.
Hello, how are you
you doing? Dr. Masterson, nice to meet you. Are you anxious?
Yeah,
I'm
pretty nervous.
And are you taking any prenatal vitamins right now?
Yeah, I just take the one a day.
That's great, and we're going to give you some samples of ones we like here too as well.
Oh, okay.
Because also taking omega-3 fatty acid helps the baby's eye and brain development, so we'll add that together. That white splotch in there, that's the fetus, and so it's in the right place. See that little flickering? Yeah. That's heart motion. It's eating really well. You just don't get yourself dehydrated, so hydrate yourself really well. To get in the exercise thing, swimming is great. No massages in the first trimester because there's some points in your body that can trigger like miscarriages. So even during pregnancy, you want to go to somebody who's familiar with that. Okay. No raw meats, so no, tuna or steak tartare or,
Oh, no tuna at all?
You can do fish 1 serving per week, and the reason being, even though because the fish oils are good, but there's mercury in the fish. Well, when I talked with Rachel today, I saw that the baby was absolutely fine for her dates. There was heart motion, all the things that we want to look for at a prenatal visit, and so everything looks really good.
You don't have to be wealthy to have children, to raise them responsibly with love and care. But you do need to be able to meet the basics so your parents don't wind up raising your children. We got you with a headhunter.
Yes.
And we're trying to get her into a better position where she can utilize her education. How do you think that went?
I did my best.
Well, let's take a quick look at that.
I've had an opportunity to look over your resume and certainly have some questions for you. The first one I have is, what are you looking for right now?
Just any job where I'm either, a nonprofit organization, a private sector, public sector, anything where I'm just working with the public and I'm out there doing leadership activities. I don't want to sit behind a desk and file papers, but I'm desperate just to get something good.
You have an interest, obviously, in politics and the nonprofit sector. What do you do to keep up on those industries?
I read the newspaper a lot to see especially what's going on with our local government.
Are you familiar with what's going on in Arizona with SB 1070?
No, I'm not.
Okay. That's what I asked.
Oh my gosh, I should be. I wish I should know the answer to that.
Okay. What would you like me to know most about you?
That I'm a hard worker and a go-getter. Like I'm really determined. I'm persistent. I won't give up.
It's been wonderful meeting with you, Rachel. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for meeting me.
How do y'all think she did in this first interview?
That whole interview was horrible.
Was horrible?
Girl, I'm desperate. I'll do anything.
I thought Rachel's interview was, she didn't sound professional. She just came off sounding like a 16-year-old girl, just trying to get her first job after high school.
Well, would you like to know what?
I don't think you saw all of it.
Well,
she
I'll tell
probably,
you what.
okay.
I'll tell you what. If you want to whine about it, you can whine about it, or you can learn from it.
Yeah, let's hear what she said.
She did see all of it.
Yeah.
The woman that was there saw all of it, and then she gave us feedback at the end. Let's see what stuck out to her, and then you can tell us why she's wrong.
First and foremost, the most glaring red flag was her desperate demeanor.
I wouldn't say anything that she asked me kind of stumped me because I was definitely ready to answer every question.
When I asked her about Senate Bill 1070 in Arizona, she had no clue.
That's embarrassing.
Yet she was telling me how well-versed in the public sector she is. It's a disconnect.
I'm a hard worker.
Rachel has a kind of nasal voice, and it can be a little bit distracting. What I notice most about her, however, is her lack of articulation and use of a lot of filler words, like, Her answers were way too long. She could have answered every single question I asked her in probably a third of the time. Say what you have to say, and then be quiet. That's always a good rule of thumb.
Well, I would say I'd give myself an A. I thought this was like one of my, best interviews.
If I had to give Rachel a grade for this interview, unfortunately, it would probably be a C- to D+.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm pretty desperate. It's pretty sad.
Well,
I mean, I'm desperate. And I shouldn't have showed that.
What do you take away from this process?
She's probably right. I said that way too much.
Well, I want you to study this because she's going to work with you and actually coach you on how to do the interview properly.
I think I've just been so stuck in what I've been doing, like, for so many years.
Did you hear anything I just said, or were you thinking about what you were going to say next when I said what I was saying?
No, I need that. Of course, I need all the help I can get, of course.
Okay, you remember how she said, say what you got to say and then shut up?
Yeah.
Is this the shutting up part?
Yeah.
You got some really important feedback here. You have excellent credentials. You're not presenting them in a way that does you justice.
Yeah.
You're going to have to raise your game. Guys, you got a lot of work to do. All right. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Next Tuesday with the Dr. Phil Housewives.
The photographs?
The mistress is revealed.
In this envelope is the pictures of the hoe that my husband slept with.
Let's take a look.
Oh my God.
Then
I want to confront both of you.
Oh, you bitch! You're out of order. I don't care what you say.
Alana takes on Dr. Phil.
Are you telling me that you're too good to be helped?
And the face-off that's been building from day one.
I want you to look at each other. Don't say anything. Eye contact.
What the hell? I don't want to look at her.
The best drama in daytime.
Look her in the eye.
Is on Dr. Phil. Next Tuesday.
Week after week, Gloria goes to great trouble to keep the focus off of what she really needs and blames the other women for her reluctance to open up. And to be honest, her excuses aren't going to cut it anymore. Rachel needs to grow up, and with a baby on the way, it needs to be soon. In fact, it needs to be right now. I'm going to continue pushing these women to step up to the plate and put their issues on the table. Tune in next week and find out who gets a $10,000 surprise from me. Our housewives have joined the Dr. Phil community. You can go to drphil.com, sign up, and read what they have to say on their personal blogs. And you can also find the housewives on Facebook. So check it out and be sure to click on the link to like them. Thanks for being here. So long.
Are you ready to have a real-life date?
A real-life blind date.
Hello, Gloria.
Hi.
Cheers to meeting you, Gloria.
Well, cheers to meeting you.
Thank you. You live here?
I do, but I travel to Costa Rica where I have a hotel and a surf school.
I've been into the stand-up paddleboard surfing.
Just did it last summer for the first time.
Did you?
Fell in love with it.
I've done the online dating thing. Did you ever do that?
I did. I do think that there's possibilities, but I also think there's complete nut jobs and nightmares to be had.
Yeah.
Both of which I've experienced.
Yeah. I wonder if we were on at the same time. I think I might have winked at you and you just ignored me. That's where
nice
it's coming back from.
Yeah, nice line.
What about getting out on some stand-up paddleboards?
I would like that.
Okay, what time should I pick you up? An hour? Is it possible to get your number so we can plan this out further?
Sure. I think Julie has it.
Well, this has been a true pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, too.
How did you like him?
I think he is an amazing catch. I think he's a beautiful, articulate, athletic man.
When you said beautiful, does that mean beautiful to you?
He became more beautiful. I don't know if the chemistry's there, but it might be.
It's really all I ask of my clients is to be open.
I'm going to be open to it.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
I kept a secret from my wife and my congregation.
A pastor's fall from grace.
I was using heroin and meth every day.
You preached high. You used drugs in your children's bathroom.
A wife's struggle to heal.
Tell him the truth.
The kids and I didn't deserve this. He hurt me.
And an Olympian's painful confession.
You did take performance-enhancing drugs.
That's correct.
So you lied. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth? Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. Well, As much as we hate to admit it, we've all told a lie at one point or another. True? Yes. Don't lie now. But what if you told one big lie and you constantly lived in fear that everybody would find out? The public might perceive you as someone who has it all, but deep down inside, you knew you were living a lie. Now, my first guest, Kim, is still reeling from the devastating truth her pastor husband, Brian, has been keeping.
From the outside looking in, people think we live the perfect life, 5 healthy, wonderful children. Brian being in the ministry and a pastor, when in reality, it was all a lie.
I kept a secret from my wife and my family and my congregation. I was addicted to pain pills for 8 years. A year and a half ago, I switched to heroin and meth.
I never thought anything like this could ever happen to me in my life.
I felt like a hypocrite because everyone viewed me as a man of God. I was using heroin and meth every day, at least 4 or 5 times a day.
I knew that he was taking pain medication for a back problem. I just assumed that it wasn't an issue anymore.
This is the main bathroom that I used to come into to use. I would turn the shower on. I would just sit down here, I'd put everything out on the ground, and I would do my thing. This right here is my toolbox. I would hide drugs in there. I could put anything I wanted in here, and nobody would know it was here. In the morning, I would get in my truck. I normally would keep everything up here. The first thing I would do would be to find a spot to park. I would start to use my drugs. Then I would lay back and kind of let the initial effect wear off. And then I would head off to work. I felt like a fraud when I would preach sermons on medication. I counseled people when I was using heroin or meth.
2 months ago, Brian was texting someone very strangely over and over, and he said that I wasn't allowed to look at his phone. I knew that he was lying to me about something.
I thought to myself, what normal person does this? My priorities were so messed up, and I thought I have to have help.
He then told me the extent of his addiction. He brought out all of the drugs and the different paraphernalia that he had, and he admitted everything. I was looking at a stranger. For the first time, I saw an addict, and that was very hard to absorb. I don't believe anybody in ministry has any idea what was going on with Brian. No one knows. I think when people find out, they're going to be extremely shocked.
I checked myself into rehab.
It was some of the darkest days in my life.
My life's harder now than it was before I went into rehab. It's like walking on a tightrope. There is no room for mistake, and if I slip up, it's over.
I feel like the last 10 years of my life have been a lie. I have a hard time trusting Brian. If he does use again, I can't stay.
So, where are you with this now? And what is your hope? What do you want to see happen?
I really want restoration for my family. He knows that if he uses again, I won't stay. For now, if he's willing to fight and stay clean, then I will stay for our children, for myself. For him, I love him. But it's hard to realize how many years have gone by that there were lies. And
what is your question for me?
I just don't know where to begin the healing process. You know, I've carried the weight of my family for years, not really knowing, but now looking back, I realize that. I haven't had time to grieve or absorb my reality, because what I knew as my reality wasn't real. So how do I move on? You know, I have consequence from the addiction to pick up. Our business, financial, our children, our marriage. I have to get to know him again, because I don't really even know him.
Where do you come down in all of this now? What do you want to see happen? What's your question for me?
I want to see my family restored. I want to fight this thing with everything I have, and I know that for years, I've been managing all of my feelings and emotions, whether good or bad. I've been medicating, and that's how I've managed for this amount of time. And now I'm in a position where I have nothing to manage those feelings with, and I'm scared to death that I will lose everything because of it.
You understand there's been tremendous collateral damage just beyond the drugs, because with the drugs, particularly in the fact that you were in the ministry and that you were looked on as a spiritual leader and a guide, and I'm sure counseled parishioners, I'm sure, about drugs and kids and things across the years. That's the problem with drugs, particularly in your role. There's a lot of deception that goes with it. I mean, you use drugs in your children's bathroom.
Yeah.
Upstairs in the house, and you lied about that, right? You took a family out to dinner, and you thought, we're all out to dinner. You know, we're all sitting down here having a nice dinner, and he's going in the bathroom and getting high.
Yes.
Right, and so now you look back on that and say, I can't even trust that. That time that we had as a family having dinner, he was actually going in the bathroom and getting high.
Yes.
So that's the sense of betrayal that you feel.
Of course.
You preached high.
On pain medication. Yeah.
You counsel people high. And the community knows nothing about this until this show airs.
Absolutely.
Right.
So people are going to
Be very shocked because we look like the perfect family. I mean, our kids, we have 5 healthy children, what I thought was a really good marriage. We appear to have it all together, but I think a lot of us do that. We wear a mask every day. We act like everything is okay.
Why choose this particular forum to do this?
Because it is happening everywhere. And it's happening to your neighbor in the suburbs, and people don't realize it, and no one's talking about it. When I thought of a heroin addict, I've never been in this drug world. I thought of somebody with scars on their face, no teeth. It wasn't the picture of a pastor. And that's the misconception that people are having.
So you're wanting to use this situation
Absolutely.
to raise awareness with people that this happens in suburbia. It can happen anywhere.
Yes.
Any walk of life, anywhere. Okay. All right, next, what Kim and Brian's 15-year-old daughter now thinks about her stepfather. We'll be right back.
I never thought this could happen to somebody in my family. I was really shocked.
Julia had to be that person I could lean on.
It's really hard to see my mom like that because, you know, you just can't fix everything.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil. They've dated for over 3 years.
I want to see a ring on my fingers or goodbye.
He says he's not ready.
I've been burned. I do not want it to happen again.
Will he commit or quit?
You need to make up your mind.
You gonna marry this girl?
And a wedding shocker.
You found out you married somebody that was still married.
With an unbelievable twist.
Are you still intimate with him?
That's Monday.
Before I found out about Brian's drug addiction, I had a miscarriage. I almost died. And, you know, there were questions. Did I lose the baby because of the addiction? And that was really difficult to even think that that could have played a role in losing that child. So there's a lot of hurt. It's hard. Sorry.
Kim feels deceived by her pastor husband, Brian. Now let's see how their 15-year-old daughter has been affected by all of this.
Julia, our oldest child, understood what was going on. She had to be that person I could lean on, and that was a lot of pressure for her.
I never thought this could happen to somebody in my family. I was really shocked. Why would he do that to our family behind closed doors? We have a lot of secrets, just as everyone else does. Before I found out about my dad and drugs, we didn't really see eye to eye all the time. He would forget things sometimes, so we had a lot of arguments about that. It's hard to just jump into being buddy-buddy and be like, oh, it's okay. I can't really take back words that were said. It was really hard watching my mom go through everything. Sometimes when it was just me and her, then she'd cry in front of me, and that was when I think we need each other most. It's really hard to see my mom like that because, you know, you just can't fix everything.
What's your reaction to hearing her talk about
It's
that?
hard to watch. My kid's been really affected by this. Julia's the oldest, so she knew what a rehab was. My younger children don't really quite understand. He never expressed any differences in personality. It's not like they experienced this drug addict father and then he was gone. He sat down and played with them. He made dinner. He came home. It was...
I wore a mask for years because I was scared. I was ashamed. I felt like a hypocrite. I was a hypocrite. And I knew once it progressed to the heroin and meth that if she found out that I would lose everything, I would lose my wife, I would lose my kids.
I've often said addiction is a family disease, and I hate that your 15-year-old was pulled into this.
The night he left, I just laid on my floor and cried. And I looked at all 5 of my children snuggling my bed. And I had no one. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to lean on her. But she was going to be there with me with the kids. She knows what's going on. And I did try to hide my feelings from them. I did go away because I didn't want to be strong for them. But it was very difficult.
But she sat up nights with you.
She did.
And you cried
She wanted
and you
to know.
talked.
She wanted to be there for me because she knew that I was going into my closet and crying when the kids would go to bed so that I could make sense of it all and find peace.
We're using this situation to educate others.
Yeah.
Then I got to tell you, you don't ask children to deal with adult issues.
I agree.
As overwhelming as it is to you, can you imagine what it's like to a 15-year-old or younger that doesn't have any ability to make a decision to leave or to stay or to cope or to not? I mean, they're helpless. They're in a situation that they have no power to change it, but yet they have the burden of its reality. And that's the worst situation that a child can possibly be
Just in that moment, I don't think you really think things through because...
I said you do what you know how to do at the time. And let me tell you something about him. I don't know whether you're going to remain clean and sober or not at this point. Neither do you.
Right.
That's a day at a time. What I can tell you is that this is a serious disease. It is resistant to treatment. It is subject to relapse, but it is manageable. And because of what you were using, the opiates you were using, the meth that you were using, you have brain damage.
Yeah.
You have brain damage. It may take 18 months or more for it to heal if it does.
Right.
He's not back.
I see pieces of him.
But he is not back yet.
I know.
He's going to question his relationship with God. He's going to question his spirituality. He is going to find a difficult time remembering certain things. I'm talking about you like you're not here, but I'm just telling you that this is the reality. He has brain damage the same as if he'd gone through a windshield of a car. So you have a tough road ahead here, and you are subject to some real serious emotional problems because of what's happened. You've had some vulnerable times. You've been through a miscarriage.
6 weeks before I found out.
6 weeks before you found out.
And I was 4 months pregnant.
Mentally, emotionally. I mean, when you're 4 months pregnant and that happens, that is, the impact on your body is huge. The impact on your mind, your emotions, your hormones are huge. Then, 6 months after that, he comes in and says, oh, by the way, your entire existence, it's a lie, it's a sham, I'm a heroin addict. Okay, so this gets dumped on you. It gets dumped on you, and you're saying, oh my gosh, what next?
Well, and that's how I feel. I feel like every day I wake up and, you know, I get dressed and I look like this and I try to keep going on, but I'm tired. And it's hard because I know that I'm trying to be strong for my kids, for Brian, but I haven't really had a time to grieve.
And you haven't given your feelings a voice in all of this. Now, when I come back, I'm going to give Kim an opportunity to do something that is critically important in putting her foot on the road to having this family get a chance to return to some degree of normalcy. We'll be right back.
Every day right now is a challenge. I worry that Brian may use again. To say that I didn't think about it would be very naive.
I'm back with Kim and Brian. Now, this is a family that is spinning at this point because after 10 years of marriage, Kim has discovered that her pastor husband, Brian, is in fact a drug addict. Kim, I'm going to ask you to do something very important right now. I want you to look Brian in the eye, and I know that's hard to do.
Yeah.
I want you to look him in the eye right now. Don't look away. Just look each other in the eye. And I'm going to talk to you, but I don't want you to look away. Don't look at me. Because once you found out that the man you thought you married, the man that you thought was your light, rock, was an addict and a liar, you haven't really looked at him. Look at him now. Is if there's ever a chance to overcome this for real, then you got to deal with the truth. And you've got to tell him right now from your heart what this has done to you. Tell him the truth. Give your feelings a voice. Don't worry about his feelings and emotions. Give your feelings a voice. Look at him. Talk through the tears. Just give your feelings a voice. Tell him you have no idea what you did to me.
You have no idea how hard it's been, how badly I've been hurt, how empty I feel, how alone I have felt, how much pressure I've had on me to care for our family. I feel like every day is a struggle. And I haven't had time to... I feel like I've lost myself because I've lost you.
Don't talk from your head. Talk from your heart. Tell him what he did to you.
He hurt me.
Tell him, say, how dare you do this to me and our family? How dare you?
You betrayed us, our trust, our children. I just don't know how you could have done that to us. I try to make sense of it because I think initially you blame yourself that you're not enough, or the kids, and you ask yourself why. But I need to know the answer to that. I feel like I'm constantly asking myself, why did you hurt us so bad?
Tell him what he took away from you.
You took away.
Don't say he, tell him. You took it from me. Tell him.
You took away our marriage, our family, our trust. I just want you to know I'm not gonna stay. If you use again, I won't, and you know that.
No.
You know, you've taken so much from me and the kids, and you really have to own this. This recovery is yours. This is your addiction. The kids and I didn't deserve this.
I know.
Tell him what you want.
I want to see the man that I married. I want to see you in your eyes again.
because you haven't been there for so long. I want to see the father that I know you are. I know you love those kids. I know you're an amazing husband, friend. But I know the addiction is taken all of those things and has brought a new person in our life. I want us to have a life together where we can laugh and have dreams and goals and not just exist. I feel like my life right now is just existing, and that's hard.
Tell him you deserve better.
And I deserve better. I know I do.
No, you do.
The kids deserve better.
Do you believe he can do this?
I know he can do this. He knows that I'm his biggest supporter in life. I know the man he is. And I know what addiction has taken from it, stole from his life. But I know what he can become. I've always believed that. He has great things that he's going to do. And that's why I'm here.
Tell him, I believe in you, but you got to show me.
I believe so much in you. You know that. I believe in you more than anybody in this world. But you have to prove to me. Trust has to be earned. It is something that's going to take a long time. And this is something you have to do on your own. I can't do it for you. And that's very hard for me, you know that, because I like to do everything for everyone. But this is the one thing I can't do for you. You have to want this.
We'll be right back.
I am Marion Jones. People hailed me as one of the fastest women in the world. I had the fame, I had the fortune, I had everything, and I lost it all because I lied.
It is with a great amount of shame that I tell you that I have betrayed your trust.
My next guest seemed to have it all, but her world fell apart because she chose to lie at a time when the truth mattered most.
On the track, Marion Jones awed fans with her speed and superstar smile.
In the 2000 Olympics, I became the first woman to win 5 medals in a single Olympic Games. People hailed me as one of the fastest women in the world. After the 2000 Games, I was definitely ranked as the best athlete in the world at that time. I won pretty much every race that I ran. I was world champion in the 100, 200 meters. I was on the cover of Time magazine. I was Athlete of the Year, ESPY award winner. I had the fame, I had the fortune. Everything seemed to be going in the right direction. I had everything and I lost it all because I lied.
In 2003, Marion was subpoenaed to testify in a federal investigation into illegal steroid distribution. Now, she was granted immunity from prosecution. It's called Queen for a Day, but she had to tell the truth.
I was given performance-enhancing drugs, and unbeknownst to me, they were what was termed later as the clear, or THG. I was subpoenaed by the federal government to be a part of the investigation into Balco. Towards the end of the interview, they pull out this little vial. It has a substance in it. At that moment, I realized that what he's, shaking in front of my face is something that had been given to me. In the blink of an eye, I thought about the years and years that I had trained. I thought about the lifestyle that I was living. If I told them that I had been given this substance, all of it could potentially be taken away. The federal investigator asked me about the substance and if I recognized it, and I told him that I didn't, and it was a lie. He asked me if I had ever taken a performance-enhancing drug called the Clear, and I told him no, and that was a lie. He asked me if I had ever taken any performance-enhancing drug, and I told him no, I hadn't, and it was a lie.
Okay, now Marion has written a new book describing her fall from grace and her journey to rebuild her life, and it's called On the Right Track. So welcome, Marion.
Thank you. Thank you.
I probably should recuse myself from this interview because I have been a huge fan of yours for many years. Tell me why you decided at this point to do this book and talk about this, because it would be so much easier for you to just stay in the background on this and live your life on a much smaller stage.
Well, for a lot of reasons, I decided to write the book. For so long, my story was written for me. And I felt that I owed it to my family, I owed it to my fans, my supporters around the world to share with them, in my own words, my journey. Even bigger than that, Dr. Phil, I have 3 little kids at home, and I teach my kids, my husband and I want to be a living example to them, that once you make a mistake, your life is not over. It's what you do after that, and I wanted for them to see that I did not give up, that I continued to help people make better lives for themselves by looking at my story and hopefully seeing the struggles that I've been through and making it better for them.
I'm a fan of the book, and I really recommend you read this book. It's not about athletics. It's about being a human being and finding that inner strength. But you talk about what happened in there. In your view, first off, you did take performance-enhancing drugs.
That's correct. I was sitting in front of federal investigators in 2003, and they were showing me substances. They were pulling things out of their bag. I mean, this was in the span of an hour. And they shook something in front of my face, and I recognized it as something that had been given to me. But in that span of 30 seconds, I made the decision to lie because I didn't want to lose my reputation. I didn't want everything that came along with all of that, and so I decided to lie.
Now, you had been given immunity.
That's correct.
They said as long as you tell the truth, whatever, you're going to walk out of here.
Nothing can happen to you.
Legally,
correct.
But you knew when you answered that question that your reputation, your medals, everything you'd worked for would go down in a split second.
Would be gone.
So they put you in a bind, so you lied.
That's correct.
And at the time that you first took them, they were giving you these performance-enhancing drugs, and you didn't know what they were.
That's correct.
Was there a time, and I know the answer to some of these, but I want you to have a chance to talk about this. Was there a time when you did become aware that you clearly were not taking a supplement, you were taking a performance-enhancing?
Yes, in 2003, when the federal investigators showed me this substance, and I put it all together that what was in the news for months. I don't know if many people remember the Balco scandal and everything, all the athletes that were involved. That's when I realized that what was given to me was indeed this clear that everybody had been talking about in the news.
And you understand people are really skeptical about that.
I understand.
And they're very skeptical about it because you are obviously intelligent.
Correct.
You are a dialed-in, focused person. And they're skeptical that somebody would just come give you some unknown benign substance and you would take it and not know what it was. They're skeptical of that.
And I understand that. But I would like people to understand is that this is not just a random person who, knocked on my door and said, take this. This is somebody whom I trusted. This is somebody who was in my immediate inner circle, whom I thought wouldn't do anything to harm me.
And you thought this was flaxseed oil?
That's correct.
So at no time in your mind did you ever believe that you were cheating?
That's correct.
So you didn't cross the finish line in the Olympics or anywhere and have that tarnished because in the back of your mind you thought, I just won this race, but I had to cheat to do it.
Nope. When I crossed the finish line in Sydney, I was overcome with emotion from knowing that I had trained hard, that I was blessed with an incredible amount of talent, and that's the reason for the celebration.
At what point did you decide to come clean and tell the truth?
Anybody who tells a lie and you have to tell more lies to cover it up. That's what a lie does. You have to tell more and more until it just gets out of control. By 2007, I had already had my first child. I was pregnant with my second child, and I knew that I couldn't carry it anymore, that I wanted to start fresh. So I decided to plead guilty. to lying to federal investigators.
We're going to take a break. We're going to talk about what it was like for Marion, because when she pled guilty, jail time was assigned. What was it like? We'll be right back.
March 5th, 2008, I walked inside of Carswell Federal Institution. I was a prisoner. Carswell smelled like a sweaty locker room that ended up in a public restroom. My time in Carswell was definitely the next step to hell.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I want to see a ring on my fingers or goodbye.
After 3 years,
You can either commit or quit.
is he ready?
You going to marry this girl?
That's Monday.
Marion Jones was once the world's top female athlete, a big winner at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. Now she's an admitted steroid user and convicted felon. And today she got the maximum sentence in a New York courtroom.
It is with a great amount of shame that I stand before you and tell you that I have betrayed your trust.
March 5th, 2008, I walked inside of Carswell Federal Institution. I was no longer Marion Jones as just a prisoner. One of the first things that I was required to do was a strip search. Carswell smelled like a sweaty locker room that ended up in a public restroom. Many nights I could not sleep. I feared for my safety. The guards would come in several times a night, slamming the doors, just doing everything to try and break you. A month and a half into my sentence, my roommate wanted to pick a fight. When I tried to leave, she blocked me from leaving. So I defended myself. I kicked her, I hit her, I did whatever I could. Could be the fastest woman in the world and have a hard time trying to get out, and that's really what it came down to. The fight landed me in solitary confinement for over 48 days. My time in solitary was definitely the next step to hell, but when I had so much time to reflect on my life, I made a decision that I control what happens to me. You make mistakes, but it's what you do after the mistakes that ultimately you are hopefully judged by.
Well, Marion's written a new book called On the Right Track, and you talk in the book about the fact that you think, as terrible as it was, that this was actually a blessing for you.
Yes, no doubt.
Why?
Well, I tell people, Dr. Phil, that very few of us as adults get an opportunity to spend so much quiet time reflecting on who we are. Well, I had 6 months of nothing but my thoughts, figuring out who I was, who I really wanted to be, and I don't think I would have, I say it's a blessing because I don't think I would have come to that point if I hadn't have gone to prison. I don't think I would have been in a place to really prioritize my life and figure out what's important and what's not important, and that life is not about sport. It's about how you can give back, how you can help, and I had to be put in prison for 6 months to realize that, but in a way I'm glad I did. Sure, I know that I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today without having gone through that.
Would it be a worse transgression for you to have cheated in the races than it would be to have lied to the federal prosecutors?
Yes. And I say that because, you know, God has given me this gift and this talent, and to have done something knowingly, I think is worse. You know, a lot of people might not be happy to hear it than to have lied.
Skeptics will say, you know, it's one thing for her to say, yeah, she lied about something she didn't know about, but she will never, ever come clean and admit that she cheated. And you are clear. There is no equivocation in your mind or voice. You never consciously made a decision to take a performance-enhancing drug.
100% clear. And I tell people this, that I paid the ultimate sacrifice. Like, I have spent 6 months in prison, Dr. Phil. I have, my reputation has been dragged through the mud. The fame, the fortune, all of that is gone. And now I'm at a point where how can everything that I've done, how can it help change the lives of people? How can it help people make better decisions? And I feel blessed that I've had the opportunity to get back into sport now and hopefully inspire and motivate people. I mean, This past season, I played for the Tulsa Shock. I was a 34-year-old rookie with 3 kids, and having been through everything that I did, and people ask me, why did I decide to go back into sport? Why did I put myself out there again? And I tell folks, I say, you know, I hope that when people see me on the court, I inspire them that whatever they're dealing with in their own life, whether it's divorce, loss of job, death in the family, if they see me and everything I've been through, and I can turn my world around in 2.5 years and be a rookie in the WNBA, that anybody can change their situation around.
Well, I have a problem with what happened at the federal level, because I think there can be an abuse of authority. And I think if federal prosecutors can get somebody in and say, okay, we're going to give you immunity against any legal consequences here, but the questions we're going to ask you can cause you to incriminate yourself hugely in every aspect of your life, you're between a rock and a hard place at that point. So it's like either ruin your life or go to jail.
Ruin your life or ruin your life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nowhere to turn, there's nowhere to run. And I have a problem with that. Life is good.
Yeah, life is so much better. You know, things are in order in my life, and I'm really on the right track. I see my message and what I've shared with people. I see people get it, that when encountering difficult situations in your life, that you need to take a break. That's what I tell people. Consult somebody with life experience who will give it to you straight. Like, Dr. Phil, that's not a good idea. You know, think it through, and then make a wiser decision.
You're making it work, and I'm proud of you for doing it. And I'm proud of you for writing this book and coming here and talking about it as well. Marion Jones, thank you so much. Are there ways to spot a liar? I'll tell you what I think when we come back. Talked a lot today about how a lie can destroy your life, but the question everybody always asks me is, how is it possible to know if someone is lying to you? Do y'all think you can tell when somebody's lying to you? Do you really? If you think you can tell when somebody's lying to you, raise your hand. Okay, well, there are telltale signs that everybody hears about, right? There's even a show on TV now called Lie to Me, and they talk about all of these things, and one of the things they say is, and I say there's research about this, that too much or too little eye contact, like if somebody's staring at you like a dead trout, there's a good chance that they may be lying to you, or if they won't look you in the eye at the time. Overemphasizing details. If somebody is trying to really deflect and not get you thinking, then there are those that say, well, if they overemphasize obscure points that have nothing to do with it, they're trying to filibuster so you don't ask another question, bad sign. Fidgeting, you know, as the person you're talking to, all nervous and everything. You often see kids do this when they're telling the tale, you know, they're all over the place. There are those that say touching your nose. If somebody touches their nose, that means they're lying. And they have their lips pursed, where they're kind of breathing real fast instead of in a relaxed way, that is a telltale sign of lying. And you'll see that all over the internet, all over research. But I got some news for you. There's not one study that suggests that those things help you predict when somebody's lying. And they do this simply by having somebody come in and lie and have people judge based on those. Then they have somebody come in and tell the truth and have somebody judge based on those. And they've never been able to show that you can find a liar any better by looking at those factors than any others. So when you go home and you're looking at your husband and he's fidgeting, it may just mean that he's wanting to go do something else while you're talking. It may not mean that he's lying. I'm just saying. We'll be right back. Now, Brian, I just had you and Kim sit down, and I had you listen. I didn't ask you to say anything. I had you listen because she needs to give a voice to her feelings. And there's something else that I'm going to ask you to do. Okay. Dr. Urschel is the chief medical strategist for Interhealth.com. and he is an addiction specialist that is world-renowned. He's in Dallas, Texas. And I am going to ask you to fly there and sit down with him, because I want him to medically manage your cravings, because I think he can take those cravings away 95+% and give you a huge leg up on getting through this first period of time.
Thank you.
You need to be involved in Al-Anon. You need to be there, I mean, with religious commitment. And we're going to offer whatever resources to you we can for you and for the children to get through this. We're closing ranks around you guys, okay? We're going to turn this around because you deserve to have what it is that you want. So we're going to make it good for you. All right, I want to thank Marion Jones for being here today. Her new book, On the Right Track, is in bookstores now, and everyone in the audience is going home with a copy. Thanks for being here. So long. Thank you.
Today on Dr. Phil.
Don't talk to me when I'm mad.
A mom out of control.
I have tried to tell Jessica to stop yelling.
Leave me alone.
Your job is not to yell and scream back and forth.
Doing what?
A family in crisis.
You need to get help. I don't like you.
You are a drunk, you are a rageaholic, and if that was seen by the wrong people, those children would be out of that house like that.
Plus, her husband's mad she lost 100 pounds.
Did you ask her to gain weight back?
But she's loving it.
You're like somebody with a new car that wants to give everybody a ride.
Well, it wasn't that bad.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Ready, free. Take.
I'm going to get you the help that you need. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How are you? How are you? Thanks very much. All right, the video you are about to see was recorded by a beautiful 14-year-old girl just hours after her family was confirmed to be on the show. Now, imagine being behind the camera and witnessing your mother. Well, take a look.
And I'm tired of it, and it's gonna end because I'm sick of it. I'm always in the middle of it, and you do it on purpose. You want to be right now, and you've been to me for the past couple of days. You keep.
Well, then we don't need to go to Dr. Phil. There's no point.
Pissing me and the kids off on purpose.
I'm not pissing.
Yes, you are.
Doing what?
That me was for him.
So what else have I done to piss people off?
You got mad at me because I was talking to my family the past 2 days. Boy, all you're doing
You're drinking all night, and your mom been in the room at 11 o'clock at night.
All you're doing is talking to your family on the phone. Well, I'm sorry I haven't seen these people.
You come in that room and you wake me and Tristan up.
Or talk to them in 18 years.
I'm doing Dr. Phil with you.
You can yourself.
Okay, that's fine.
Look at how this clever 14-year-old pushed in on the beer cans on the counter. This was her, not us. We weren't involved in this. Why? Because she says their issues are not only about her mother screaming and yelling, but also about her mother's drinking. Now, Jessica, the mother, admits to drinking a couple of beers a night to tune everything out. She can't commit to a wedding date due to the constant fighting with her fiancé, Robbie. Take a look.
I do have a major issue with anger, which turns into rage at times.
Don't talk to me when I'm mad. Leave me alone.
My rage is pretty bad. I just start screaming, and it's an everyday thing.
And I'm tired of it, and it's gonna because I'm sick of it.
When Jessica drinks a lot, she often raises her hand like she wants to hit me.
Jessica has hit me on multiple occasions. Most recently, 2 weeks ago, I was sleeping and I just didn't hear the phone ring. And she proceeded to hit me in my head while I was laying in bed half asleep. We went to a Christmas party. Apparently she thought some girl had looked at me. She took her umbrella out of her purse and whacked me across my face to the point where it split my lip.
When she struck me across the face with the umbrella. And when I dropped her off, this is where she kicked my truck and put a little dent in my truck.
When things between us are out of control, I freak out. A few years ago, we got into an argument. He grabbed the baby. When I tried to grab the baby back, I scratched Robbie's neck, and Robbie called the police, and they took me to jail. I was in jail for the whole weekend.
It's not my fault that he doesn't.
It is your fault. As soon as he walked in, you grabbed the rest of the, wanted to grab the rest of the meat, and you wanted to do it on purpose.
I feel like Robbie picks on the kids, and I feel like I always have to defend them.
And I'm tired of it, and it's gonna end because I'm sick of it. I'm always in the middle of it, and you do it on purpose.
I'm stressed out every day.
Jessica drinks every day.
And I have anxiety, and I self-medicate just about every day. I drink a couple of beers.
I have seen Jessica consume 12 plus beers multiple times.
There are days where I know that I drink too much.
Jessica is mean when she drinks. Constantly puts me down in front of the kids. Jessica is very verbally abusive.
I have called Robbie and my 2 older children an idiot, a jerk, and a bitch. What makes me angry is they just don't ever listen to me. There's only so much that I can take, and I just blow up.
You can yourself.
I won't marry Jessica if she doesn't quit drinking and stop yelling at me every day.
You're treating me like.
Okay, I'm curious for the two of you. I'm always anxious to get people's reaction after they kind of see their lives on tape.
I'm in awe. I can't believe that that's how it goes.
My reaction to this is I've never obviously seen myself act that way, but I know that I act that way. I don't like how things are between us, how things are between the kids, how I act, the issues I have, past issues that I have that have come into the relationship that have made me this monster, this horrible, I feel like I'm just a horrible mom. I'm not being a good mom. There's a lot of issues. We're always fighting about the kids. I want us to be happy. I want us to be a functional, happy, healthy family.
If this is your chance, this is your opportunity to make something happen, what is your question for me?
What do I need to do to make this family work?
You are a drunk, you are an alcoholic, you are a rageaholic, you are out of control, and as long as that happens, this will never change. You are abusing your children mentally, you are abusing your children verbally. And if that was seen by the wrong people, those children would be out of that house by Child Protective Services like that.
How do I change me drinking? How do I change me abusing my kids verbally? How do I deal with my emotions? How am I going to deal with my anger?
Well, first off, you acknowledge that you're out of control and you're hurting the people that you love most in this world.
Yes.
Do you get that?
Yes.
I saw this in the background of you yelling and screaming, okay? I took the audio out because I just don't want to hear it. But do you see what I see right there? Right there. Freeze that.
My son.
While all of this is going on, and you're telling him to go do things that are not anatomically possible, you're yelling, you're screaming, you're threatening, you're raging. That child is sitting there watching it. And who was taking the video?
My daughter.
Your other child.
This is what goes on. This is how I act.
And that's wrong. You had to come here to talk to me to figure out that what you're doing is wrong.
No, I know it's wrong, and that's why I am here, is to get help with dealing with me acting that way, my emotions, my...
You're even lying to me on tape. You said, I drink a couple beers, you know, sometimes to kind of tune out a little bit.
I do.
Really?
I do. Sometimes it's more. On the weekends, it's a lot more. I don't have to go to work. I don't have to get up in the morning.
He says that you are mean when you're drunk and you get drunk every day.
I do not get drunk every day.
Okay, how many days? 5 out of 7? 4 out of
No.
7? 3? 2?
I would say 2.
How many?
I do not get drunk every day.
How many times are you close or with what they classify as a good buzz? Jessica,
On the weekends.
You just don't drink 2 beers a night. You'll buy a 6-pack and you'll drink.
Some days, yes. I drink more than 2. I drink more than 3. I've admitted to that.
So you started drinking a month ago.
Yeah, I got to the point where I didn't know
It was
what to
working
do.
so well for her, you said, you know, hell, let's jump in here. I'll join in.
It wasn't the right decision. I know that. So I know that what I did for a month was wrong. And
so one of y'all's questions is, should you get married? Right?
I do love her. That's why I've been here for 8 years.
There's someone else in this family I'd like you to meet. She says Robbie is an absolute ass. She said he's a nitpicking, SOB, selfish egomaniac, while Jessica is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And what we're talking about is Jessica's mother. We're going to meet her after the break, and then I'm going to start putting some verbs in my sentences on exactly what needs to happen here. We'll be right back.
A lot of the anger issues I have are because of you. I don't like you.
I know you don't.
I don't.
I know you don't, and I don't know why.
And later,
I don't want to hurt them. I love them very much. And I knew that I had to do something.
You need to get help.
My mom is a big influence on, I feel, kind of turning my children against me. And she fills their head with all kinds of all the time. I'm angry because I just feel like I don't get any respect from my 2 older children because I feel like they walk all over me.
Jessica's mother believes they do not know what a serious relationship is, and that, frankly, they just need to break up and go their own ways.
Jessica's relationship with Robbie has always been tumultuous. When Jessica and Robbie first got together, they were trying to outdrink each other. She drinks every day now. She is depressed. She has severe anxiety, and she self-medicates with alcohol. Jessica becomes enraged when she's been drinking. It used to always be yelling and screaming.
You're treating me like
And I've told her, why don't you scream louder so the next county can hear you too? I noticed a change in Jessica's behavior. She became physical. Jessica's oldest son got into a fight with her youngest son. Jessica took a hammer and smashed the flat screen TV. I picked her up and pulled her out of the room, and that scared me. It was heartbreaking. I can tell you, the older children do not like their mother. Jessica's eldest son calls his mother a dumb bitch, a stupid idiot. It's awful. I understand that people can be pushed to a point of no return, and I'm fearful that she's there. I think Robbie and Jessica both need help. I don't think it's a good idea that those two get married. This alcohol business is going to ruin her life.
You're concerned about the drinking as well.
Yes, sir.
And now he started drinking.
Yes.
So you say we've got a house with
2 drunks now.
2 drunks.
Every day. And what about my grandchildren?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to stand up and speak for them? I'm very concerned.
Dr. Phil?
Yeah?
Will you ask Jessica's mom how many times she's been married?
Okay. How many times have you been married?
3 times.
So
3
would
times?
you take relationship advice from a person that's been married 3 times?
Oh, hell, I think a blind man could see what she's describing. Are you kidding me?
Well, no,
Because
I know.
she can't keep her own marriage together 3 times, you think that makes this any less toxic?
No, I'm not saying
So
that.
you just
but-
wanted to smear her characters while she was talking
but
about yours.
she's trying to smear ours.
I'm not trying to smear anybody's character here because I love you both. You have a beautiful family.
How is that when you tell me to get rid of him because he's an asshole, and you tell him to get rid of me? How are you helping us?
I've
How
never
are you
told him
helping
to get
us
rid
get
of you.
along?
I've never told him to get rid of you.
You have messed up my life
I
from
have.
the time I was an infant.
Really?
Yes.
How so?
I did not want you here. A lot of the anger issues I have are because of you.
Okay.
I don't like you.
I know you don't.
I don't.
I know you don't, and I don't know why. What have I done to you
Let's
that
see,
you
you
don't
didn't
like
feed
me?
me as a baby. You
What?
pawned me off on Grandma. You put me through 3 marriages.
You don't much care for her.
I don't.
And you think that the way you are
Yes.
is a product of what you lived with.
Yes, right.
How many times did you want to say, will you just settle down? Will you just shut up?
Many times.
Well, what do you think your children would like to do?
They would like to do the same thing to me.
You know, sometimes, I have cards that just in case I need facts, that I carry out here, and I write down on top in my own terrible handwriting things that I want to make sure I don't forget to talk about no matter if a damn earthquake hits. I need to cover these points in order to do a good job, because I take my job very seriously. Do you see what I've written right here?
Legacy?
Legacy. No right to continue. I have no doubt that there is a legacy of chaos and turmoil here. And so we just have this generational pass-through. Well, when does somebody stand up and say, enough is enough, it stops here, it stops now, my children will not be scarred the way I was?
I have tried to tell Jessica to stop drinking. I have tried to tell her to stop yelling. Even Jessica's mom would attest to
Well,
that.
let me tell you something, Dad. Your job is to be a leader, not to stand there and yell and scream back and forth. Did you say to your stepson, if you guys get married, when his mother said you need to go stay with your biological father for a while, did you say you're just angry because she picked me over you? That's not an essay question.
I might have said that. I very well could have, yes.
Yeah.
I know he said that.
Yes, I
Then
did.
I'd lighten up on the lecture. Okay? You're telling her, would I listen to somebody that's been married 3 times? Would I listen to somebody who told a child, ha, 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 she picked me over you, that's why you're angry? Very mature.
No, it's not.
Come on. We're going to hear from 14-year-old Audrey and 15-year-old Billy when we come back.
She'll have one beer and then it just continued.
She came into my room and smashed my TV and threw my Xbox down the stairs.
When she drinks, it really hurts me. It like makes her a different person, and it's really bad.
Jessica curses in front of these kids all the time, so now they're starting to act like her.
No.
I can see a lot of similar characteristics in the kids and their mom. Her daughter is starting to get that anger kind of aspect that her mom has, and yelling and screaming and get in shouting matches.
Well, Jessica and Robbie have been engaged for over 7 years, but he says the wedding won't happen if she doesn't curb her anger and her drinking. So naturally, I want to hear what the children have to say, but we're not showing their faces because I don't think you do that in this kind of a situation. I don't think it's appropriate. So we'll take a look at the tape and then I'll get these parents' reaction.
My mom is an alcoholic. she'll have one beer and then it just continues. She just keeps having more and more and more, and that's when she gets so angry at us, and she like calls us names.
You can yourself.
My mom has anger issues. When she drinks, it makes it worse.
Leave me alone.
When my mom drinks, she throws stuff. She came into my room and smashed my TV and threw my Xbox down the stairs.
She ignores me all the time. She doesn't really know much about me because she never pays attention to me.
My mom is missing out because she's always drinking all the time. She never spends time with us.
Robbie is not right for the family. He makes my mom really upset all the time. She's always stressed out because of him.
It is your fault. As soon as he walked in, you wanted to grab the rest of me. And you wanted to do it on purpose.
He wants to be the boss of everybody. I feel like my mom and Robbie are different from other kids' parents. Whenever my friends are over here, they're always arguing, and I feel embarrassed. When she drinks, it really hurts me because it like makes her a different person, and it's really bad. I would like my mom to get better and stop her drinking, and I don't want to live with Robbie. I just want to be with my mom.
What's your reaction to what your children just said?
It hurts me. Audrey is upset with Robbie a lot of times, and so is Billy, because Robbie tries to instill discipline, rules. They don't like that. I feel like he does pick on them all the time. To me, he's picking on my kids, and I feel like I have to be this mama bear and protect them, and we're always arguing about what's the right way to discipline and what's not. And
did you see a different tape than I saw?
I was just...
No, seriously, did you?
No.
I asked you what you thought about what your kids had to say. Your son's talking about throwing stuff, kicking stuff, throwing it down the stairs. Your daughter crying over the fact that she watches you getting drunk and knows you're going to get meaner when you get drunk, and you want to talk to me about your plan for discipline in the home? That's your reaction? Are you that disconnected here?
No, I was just trying to refer to one comment that she had.
Let's refer to the rest of the comments. I ask you what your reaction was about what your children said about you.
I'm hurting my children. I'm hurting them. It hurts me. I know I'm hurting them. I don't want to hurt them. I love them very much. And I knew that I had to do something.
You need to get help.
Did you hear the last thing that your daughter said?
Yes.
What did she say?
She said she just wants to be with her mom.
Said she wants her mom back.
I don't want to be this way.
So she's drunk and you're immature, and that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
No, seriously, I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just saying, look, I just call it the way I see it. You deserve for me to tell you the truth as I see it, right? Listen, I'm not the repository of all knowledge. I could be wrong. I'm not, but I could be. In this situation, it's not a tough call.
Sure.
You guys have no relationship skills whatsoever. You are damaged people.
Yes.
And as a result, you contaminate this relationship, and you contaminate the children in the crossfire. You know, kids, particularly in a blended family, have needs. The first thing they need is acceptance. They need to know that there's an assurance of safety, that they have emotional safety, physical safety. They need to have freedom of guilt or blame for the divorce, the fact that the biological parents aren't there, that they don't want to blame themselves for trouble that's going on in the blended family. They have a need for structure. They need to know that there is a stable parent with the strength to conduct the business of the family. That there is somebody that is strong enough to say, this family is going to be stable and you don't have to deal with adult issues. We'll be adults, you be kids, we'll handle everything else. And can this get better? I mean, do you think this can get better?
I feel that if we have help, yes.
Do you think it can get better?
If we have the proper guidance, yes.
Yeah. I do. I think it can get better. I mean, you can't fall off the floor, right? No. I mean, you are doing so much wrong that it's got to improve. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I think needs to happen here with great specificity when we come back. Let's see what we can agree on. Can we agree that this situation is highly dysfunctional?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can we agree that that is not now nor has never been your intent?
Yes.
You didn't intend to create this kind of chaos. You weren't a little girl in your room thinking about growing up and getting married and having a family and it being this.
No.
Right? Can we agree this was not your intent?
My
right?
parents have been married for 43 years.
You never wanted this kind of thing
Not
to
at
go
all.
on. You never wanted it for them.
Never.
Okay, but what we have here is toxicity. And so we have to change this. I started out telling you that I think you're a drunk. I think you're an alcoholic. I think you're a rageaholic. That has to change. You need to go to rehab.
Okay.
It's just that simple. Now, I am prepared as a gift to your family to make that available to you. We work with Origins Recovery Center. It is a nationally recognized dual diagnosis treatment center. When I say dual diagnosis, they deal simultaneously with the psychological issues and the addiction issues. They have very gender-specific treatment programs, by the way. You are in it's called Hannah's House, which is for women. And they specialize in the treatment of alcoholism and these co-occurring psychological issues that are specific to women. I'm offering that to you as a gift. Will you accept it?
Yes, I will do whatever it takes to make this work.
You know you need to do that, right?
I know
you
I
can't
need
do
to
this
I
on
know
your
I
own.
can't.
You can't do this on your own. While she's gone, you need some help with a parenting plan.
Sure.
And if you're going to be involved here, then you need that help, and I will get that help for you so she doesn't come home to the same broken situation that she left. Will you take that help?
Absolutely.
Because I will get you that help immediately, and you will also be involved in what happens with you down there. This doesn't need to happen like next week or next month. It needs to happen right now. And I'm telling you, in a very short period of time, the world is going to look a good deal different to you. You deserve some peace in your life, don't you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You deserve some peace, and don't you want it?
Yes.
And I want it for you, and I want it for your 3 beautiful children.
I do too.
All right, we're going to move on. And next, we're going to talk to a woman who's lost 100 pounds. Sounds great, right? Not if you ask her husband, because he says she is no longer the girl he married, and he wants her to gain back every pound or get out. We'll be right back.
I looked at Brendan and I said, in 1 year, I will lose 100 pounds. My husband was very unsupportive.
Do you care if I work out? I guess.
He would make snide comments.
Jessica changed when she started losing weight. It became an obsession.
Okay, and particularly you ladies, I want you to imagine going from this to this. My next guest, Jessica, says she has lost this weight the old-fashioned way, by working out, watching what she would eat, and she claims to have gone from 245 pounds to 145 pounds. That's a 100-pound difference and a hugely healthy change worth celebrating. So why does she claim her husband of 2 years, Brendan, is not only angry with her transformation, but actively trying to make her regain every pound? Take a look.
My husband and I experienced a loss of pregnancy at about 16 weeks. I was instantly convinced it was my weight, and that's why I lost the baby. I looked at Brendan and I said, I'm gonna lose this weight. In 1 year, I will lose 100 pounds. When I started, I was about 245 pounds. When I hit the 50-pound mark, Brendan started to realize that I was serious. It really freaked him out.
I didn't want Jessica to lose all the weight because she would get attraction from other men and I would lose her.
My husband was very unsupportive. Do you care if I work out?
I guess.
He would make snide comments. If I worked out in front of him, he would just be like, you're starting to look really unhealthy. I don't even know why you're doing this. You're already married. What's the point? Do you want to know how many calories I'm burning by doing this?
No, I'm good.
Brendan never said anything positive about the weight loss. Brendan would say, you know, nobody else is ever gonna love you looking like this. In order to sabotage me, Brendan would eat cupcakes in front of me. He would keep horrible food in the house. My favorite candy would show up in random places. There'd be chocolates left everywhere.
Jessica changed when she started losing weight. It became an obsession with the working out.
Brendan had a really hard time when I began strength training. He would constantly tell me that girls with muscles were disgusting, they were ugly. Brendan made sure to tell me that I was never gonna find anybody better than him and that nobody would be attracted to me for anything other than sex.
Well, as Jessica's weight loss progressed, Brendan admits that his obsession over her worsened.
Brendan has always been controlling over me. Brendan is so jealous that even a minor trip to the grocery store, he wants to go with me because he's petrified somebody will look at me and steal me away from him.
I did not like Jessica going to the gym all the time.
He looked at my cell phone messages, my Facebook messages. He's gone as far as to follow me to the gym. He even joined the gym just so he could watch who was coming in and out. I feel like no matter what I do, he's trying to sabotage who I am.
The more she started changing, I felt like I was getting left in the dust, and it upset me and it pissed me off.
Brendan is very abusive when it comes to threatening.
I knew if I put the negative attention on her that it would destroy her emotionally.
On several occasions, he has actually threatened if he finds out that I'm talking to another man, that he will find that man, he'll kill him, he'll kill me, and told me that if I ever left him, he would slit my throat in front of the mirror so that I could watch myself bleed out.
Okay, let's clear one thing up right quick. You were just popping off and don't mean that, right?
Yes, I had no intentions ever doing that. I think my wife is beautiful.
Why'd you say it?
Because I was scared of losing her.
Well, but you may lose her.
Yeah, I might.
But you don't slit her throat and watch her bleed out.
No.
If she decides to leave you.
No.
Right?
I have no intentions ever doing
Okay,
that.
just want to be real clear on that.
Yes.
And now that you've said that, and it's on record on national television, if you ever do that, if anything ever happens to her, it won't be a long list of suspects, okay? I take that real seriously.
Yeah, I have no intentions ever doing that.
Okay, have you ever been physically abusive with her?
Once.
You need to keep your hands off of her, because I'm telling your wife right now, so you won't be mad at me, be mad at me, if he is abusive with you, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
You don't stay in that relationship under any circumstances or under any theory. So we need to get that off the table right now, okay?
Yeah.
All right. I don't think you're an evil guy, but you need to understand, I know you're getting scared because you think she's attractive, right?
I know she's attractive.
And you think that's a threat to you?
Yes, it is. I feel
What do
it's
you
a threat.
think about it?
This whole time, he's made sure to make me feel like it doesn't matter what I do, I'm not going to be attractive. And this whole time that I've been losing weight, he couldn't understand that it wasn't ever about being attractive, being more attractive, anything. It was coming and stemming from that day that I sat in the hospital bed when we lost our pregnancy, that I said, I'm gonna lose this weight, this is gonna be what I do.
But when you did lose the weight,
Oh, it was an added perk, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, and you went out and celebrated.
I guess, to a certain degree.
To a certain degree.
We actually separated for like 2 months. He was constantly putting me down. He was constantly making me feel completely controlled. And I decided to show him what it would be like if he lost complete control. And I went out. A lot.
So what exactly happened during Jessica's 57-day hiatus from her husband? Well, we're going to talk to her sister. We're going to find out. And then we're going to talk about what we got to do about this. We'll be right back.
I decided to become the ultimate monster. I became the girl that people were jealous of, were making rumors about, and I kind of liked it. Brendan hurt me so much that it was his turn to suffer. I've always been the big girl, so I never got attention, ever. This was my first opportunity to really get all the attention that I've been seeking and craving my whole life. I decided to become the ultimate monster. I got my hair bleached blonde, tanned up. They say what we fear we create, and I made that happen for Brendan. I became the girl that people were jealous of, were making rumors about, and I kind of liked it. The first night that I went out in a tiny dress and got attention from every guy you can imagine, trying to buy me drinks, telling me how beautiful I was. I was on top of the world. I was living the fantasy of the girl that I wanted to be my whole life. I had the craziest summer of my life. For 2 months, I could do whatever I wanted. Nobody was telling me what to do. This is my diva dress. I do whatever I want when I wear this dress. This is another singles dress, another success story. If I went on a date or paid attention to another person or another person paid attention to me, I would be sure to tell Brendan every single time. I told Brendan that I slept with other people. I wanted to hurt Brendan. He hurt me so much that it was his turn to suffer.
Okay.
I look like a monster. I look like a monster. That was only during the separation. Like, I was not like that before we
Well, it's
separated.
interesting. You say when I look like a monster, you are grinning ear to ear.
Like, I don't
As
even
you
know
say
what
that.
to say. Like,
Well, you're obviously proud of it.
to a certain degree, I'm proud that I'm able to do that now. But at the other side, like, I'm my worst fear now. Like, when we separated, I'm exactly what I always said I didn't want to ever be. Like, I was always jealous of the type of girls who, like, went out and got everything that they wanted. And I was always jealous of that. And the moment that we separated, that's exactly what I became. That is what I became.
Yeah. So you work really hard
Yes.
and you get this new body. And so you want to show it off.
Yes.
And you get all this attention.
That he doesn't provide me.
You are stunningly gorgeous. I am proud to have you on my arm. Always have been, but I've always been afraid that you were going to walk away as soon as you found something better or found somebody else that you could fix up.
Did you ask her to gain weight back?
I did ask her to
More than
stop.
once.
More than once, I did.
Why?
I would ask her to stop because I didn't want her to get unhealthy. Drop too much weight to get unhealthy. And it was my own insecurities. I wanted her to stop because I felt like I was going to lose her.
Instead of being insecure, how about you should have jumped on the train with me and been like, hey, honey, you're doing fantastic. Why don't I try to eat right? Remember, all of this is about health, about being healthy, about wanting more than just
Well,
appearance.
it wasn't about health during that 57-day hiatus.
57-day hiatus, I agree. I
mean, I
agree.
hear
I
you.
was the opposite of what I was trying to show the public, of being healthy, of being smart. I did completely go off the deep end. I won't deny that.
Well, then be honest about it. I mean, I hear you singing, but the music ain't right. You say, oh, yeah, it's healthy, healthy, healthy. But then for 57 days,
For 57
you go out there and
days,
you're
yes.
like somebody with a new car that wants to give everybody a ride.
Well, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't.
See, that's not the part that bothers me the most, is the part that she was doing it out of spite to hurt.
Well, you weren't there when all this is going on, but your sister was. She was around. Jessica says she went to live with her sister Heather during her 2-month separation from her husband. Well, here's what Heather has to say, and you might be surprised.
Oh. When Jessica was separated from Brendan and staying with me, she was out of control. It was scary. It was hard to watch. When she didn't have her son, then she would be at the bar every night. The scariest part of Jessica with going out, you could tell her life was just chaos. She just had no control. She didn't seem to care. Jessica likes drama. She always has. She realized that by losing that weight, that she can pretty much do whatever she wants. She can manipulate people to make you believe anything she wants. In Brendan and Jessica's relationship, I don't think it's all Brendan's fault. Jessica cheated on Brendan back in December of 2011, so there was trouble in the relationship before the weight loss. She loves attention even more now. Brendan has reasons to be jealous and worried because she does have this other side where she wants to go out and she wants to be single and she wants to do what she wants and she doesn't want to be tied down.
Well, Jessica's sister Heather is on the phone. Heather, what do you want to say?
I think Jessica maybe just wasn't ready to settle down, but she wanted to, and she just tried to play a role for a long time, and it was just hard for her.
Let me ask you this. If you knew 3 years ago what you know now, would you have married him?
If I could still have my son, probably not.
If you knew what you know now 3 years ago, would you have married her?
Marrying my wife was the best decision I've ever made in life.
You are married. Do you want to stay married?
A part of me? I know it sounds bad. I know it sounds bad, but to go and have such a life-changing event of losing all this weight and the whole time having to completely separate yourself from your husband because he doesn't support you. Can you imagine living so alone for a year? That's how I felt, completely alone, just completely alone.
I felt the same way. You were moving on without me. We had goals that we set when we got married, and you basically said, hell with them. I'll go do this now by myself.
I don't even know what to say. My goals have changed. I have changed.
I have some things to say, and I'm going to say them right after the break. Okay, I am back with Jessica and Brendan, and look, I'm very happy for you that you've lost this weight, and primarily because it is a significant return to health. You should certainly support that. It is clear to me that we have two people here in a marriage that are not really skilled to be in a relationship. Both of you have made some decisions that have put this relationship at risk and therefore your son's family at risk. So you both have ownership there. At this point, you guys don't have the right to quit this marriage. You don't have the right to decide, well, I'm a different person now and I know what's out there, so I'm just going to go on. That doesn't mean that you can't require more and different things from him. Doesn't mean that you can't change and redefine things. Listen, relationships are negotiations, and the negotiations never stop. You say, oh, we had goals and we had a deal. Well, people change. People evolve, and so the negotiation never stops. You guys just need to decide, we're going to actually take some time and work on this relationship consciously, proactively. And I have some things that I'm going to suggest for the two of you to do, starting right away. And I'm going to get you some professional help, a marriage counselor that will sit down and say, okay, we can't change what has happened, but let's talk about what needs to happen at this point and make a plan for this marriage so the two of you are committed. You're not ready to quit, are you?
No.
And you're not ready to quit, are you? Then let's do it right going forward instead of wrong. If I make that arrangement for you, will you take that help?
Absolutely.
I want to thank all of my guests today, and thanks again to Origins Recovery Center in South Padre, Texas, for helping Jessica. Go to drphil.com for more information. We'll see you on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks. Here we go.
Today on Dr. Phil.
Strangers are stopping you and saying, lady, don't do this.
Moms who drink.
You drank 17 beers throughout the day.
And drive.
She would be in charge of carpooling home from soccer, and I would see cans of the beer she drinks. If there's anything you can do.
I'm working on it.
I don't want to live like the pathetic person that everybody saw in that video. I want it to stop.
Why don't I believe you? You haven't yet said, help me, please. Your precious child can be laying in this box because of what you do. You put her in that car, you drive drunk. This is exactly where she's going to wind up.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I know things are tough out there, but we can do this. If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about.
10 seconds to air.
Well, thank you. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Ready, camera 5.
Take track.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Let's do it. For all of you in studio today and for all of you at home, I really want you to sit down and let me have your undivided attention. Today's show is going to be a wake-up call for some of you. It's going to be a call to action for others. I say that because I tell you that there are killers among us, and they could take out you or someone in your family. Now, I'm not talking about terrorists with AK-47s or bombs. I'm talking about mothers. Mothers who are getting drunk and then getting behind the wheel and driving carpool around your kids in your neighborhoods. Now, did you know there are 5.3 million women in the United States who admit to abusing alcohol? And the number of female drivers involved in alcohol-related fatal traffic crashes is going up, while the number of male drivers involved in these types of crashes is going down. Look, this is no joke. We all remember a drunken Diane Schuler and that horrific crash on the Taconic State Parkway in New York that killed 8 people, including herself, and 4 young and innocent children. Now, a shattered vodka bottle was found in the minivan that she was driving. There have been many more headlines. Here are some of the latest examples of what I believe is an epidemic on the rise.
For the past 5 years, the number of women arrested for driving drunk has been on a steady increase.
And all too often, children are on board.
Mothers who, instead of protecting their children, are putting them in grave danger.
What's going on with your mom? She was in this restaurant and she had some drinks. She's going too fast.
Diane Schuler packed her car with children, then drove drunk the wrong way on the Taconic, killing 7, including her own daughter and her 3 nieces. Carmen Huertas loaded 7 children into her station wagon, reportedly barreling up the West Side Highway, asking who thinks we're going to crash. An 11-year-old died.
A school bus driver now heading to jail after she was drunk behind the wheel.
55-year-old Martha Thompson had a blood alcohol content of 0.15. The frightened children opened the emergency door in the back of the bus to get out, despite Thompson pleading against it.
You can't get off the bus!
Now, I want to show you guys the level of impairment that we're talking about here. I'm holding an apparatus called Fatal Vision Goggles that are used to demonstrate the behaviors of someone under the influence. Now, these are silver level goggles. They represent a blood alcohol content of 0.17 to 0.20. And remember, Diane Schuler was found to have a 0.19 blood alcohol content. So this is right at what she was seeing. Now, for a 130-pound person, that's about 6 or 7 drinks, and you need to know this. I have a line here that would be a typical sobriety test line that you would have. And I'm going to do the best I can to walk this line, and I'm going to put these goggles on and then walk exactly what I see. Now, I cannot imagine trying to operate a motor vehicle right now. Let's see how I did. The problem is insight. People who are drinking just don't have insight. They don't understand. They think what they're seeing is okay. Now, I recently got a letter from a good friend of my first guest describing what she says is a life or death situation. Erin says that Mary drinks 12 to 18 beers a day and has driven drunk with her children in the car. Now, we recently spent the day with Mary to see just how severe this mom's drinking is. Take a look.
So, how many beers have you had already today?
This is like my 2nd or 3rd.
Are you just gonna keep drinking all day?
Probably. The beer numbs my pain. When I don't drink, I can't handle the things going on in my life. When I drink like 1 beer, it really doesn't do anything. I really want to get another drink, but we're all out in my car and I can't find my car keys. See, now I'm getting aggravated because I really want to drink another beer. My keys are right here. Well, all right, well now I can drink. It's 2:40. I don't even know how many beers, probably like 10. Oh, it's 5:29 and I have no clue, like maybe 15. I do not feel drunk. I feel kind of crappy because I haven't eaten all day, so I kind of feel like I just want to go to sleep, but I have stuff to do, so I can't. I have a friend coming over to watch the dog, and I have to, yeah, I am drunk. I am drunk because I'm saying stupid things.
I definitely think Mary's depressed and she numbs herself with alcohol. You need to get your together or you are going to die. You already lost your kids. Your kids are not going to have a mother. Your life is over. You've chosen that over your kids.
Now, her addiction to alcohol has been spiraling out of control and taking an ugly toll on her life.
The beer does a combination of things. It can make me forget about things.
Holy it's on fire.
Is it? Oh, that happened once before. The light bulb caught on fire. So my house almost burned down because of this. I feel like I'm letting my kids down. I want to be a responsible, normal mother. I'm worried that my drinking problem has already affected my children. I know it has. I know it has. Who needs to live in this crap hole? You know, it's disgusting. I've created my own world. Nobody else should have to live like this. I only see my kids like once or twice a week. It's hard. I'm about to lose my job. I was put on a warning because I had a couple absences. I went to the hospital because I almost passed out at work. My income is not sufficient enough to meet my bills. I have bill collectors, like this phone's probably gonna ring like real soon. I'm not gonna answer because I really can't do anything about it. I feel that I'm on the verge of being homeless. I mean, I know I have a place where I can stay, but who wants to stay on somebody else's couch? I just want to go back like 5 years in time and have everything be normal again.
So, how much have you had to drink today?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah. I really want to know who I'm talking to. I want you to take a breathalyzer right now. Okay. I hope you're right, because I hope you're as clear-eyed as you can possibly be. I want to introduce Keith Nothaker of Backtrack Breathalyzers. Keith, can you come up here, if you would, please? Welcome, Keith, please. How you doing? Good to see you again, man. Good to see you. Just step in here, and if you would, this is a breathalyzer that people at home can get, keep in their house, keep in their car, right? If you would set that up, and I would like to have Mary blow so we can find out where she is right now, so I know who I'm talking to.
Okay. Take a deep breath and blow as hard as you can for 5 seconds. Big breath. Keep going. Keep blowing. Keep going. Perfect.
Okay, so she's clean breath-wise now.
That means the current alcohol level is 0.00.
That's what I want. That's fine. Thank you very much. You understand why I want to know that, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't tell me that your brain isn't affected, because it is. You stop drinking today, it would be probably a year before your brain is completely clear. But I at least want you focused while you're here.
Okay, physically
How long
I'm okay.
since you had your last drink?
Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm. So you're focused, you're here, you're present right now.
Right.
Because this is a very important day for you for a number of reasons that I'm getting ready to tell you. And you're not going to like any of them. Not a damn one. When we come back, Mary admits that she's driven while intoxicated, even with her kids in the car. We're going to talk about that, plus Erin's horrified reaction when she sees inside Mary's bedroom for the first time.
Mary, this is crazy. I think Mary's house is disgusting. Holy Mary.
I've driven drunk more times than I can count.
Mary has driven drunk with her kids. She was actually approached at soccer practice and told that she's not allowed to drive her kids there anymore because they were smelling alcohol on her breath.
This other mom, she followed me. She's like, I really want to take you guys home. She said, I don't think you should be driving. And I let her take my son home.
Well, that was Mary and her friend Erin talking about how Mary has driven drunk, even with the kids in the car. Now, you've had DUI before, right?
One,
1987. Mm-hmm. So you've been at this a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So you were driving drunk in 1987, and in fact, you had a head-on collision. Mm-hmm. Total 2 cars. Mm-hmm. And you are still at it. What do you think about that? We're 2 adults sitting here in bright lights, rational, talking about the fact that strangers are stopping you and saying, lady, no, come on, don't do this.
It's insane.
You are not a stupid person, so tell me what's going on here. You are an intelligent person that can reach out for help, and you don't do it.
I have reached out for help in the past. I've recognized that I had a problem with alcohol.
Right, let's talk about that. You got out of rehab the first time in '07. You were supposed to go to rehab after work in the evenings. But you didn't do that, did you?
No.
You went home and drank instead. Okay, so that's your reaching out for help?
Well, going to the rehab was reaching out for help, and then I thought I did okay there, and I got home and figured, you know, let's see if I can just have a couple.
Okay, well, you got a second bite at the apple because you had a second rehab stint. You were supposed to go to an aftercare facility in Florida, right? And you said you needed to go home and get your clothes and get your stuff together. Did you ever go to Florida to the aftercare?
No, because they wouldn't let me go home, and it was winter up here. I didn't have the right clothes.
Does your brain know what your mouth just said?
Probably not.
I mean, seriously, you just said, I went to rehab to get recovery from this fatal disease that is destroying my life, destroying my family, cost me my kids, and I didn't go because I didn't have a sweater?
I just felt that I needed to get some more things to have with me if I was going to be away for another month.
So how'd that decision work for you?
It didn't work.
You say you couldn't afford the $15 copay for the aftercare, right?
It was 4 times a week. It would have been $240 a month.
Okay, how much do you spend on liquor?
More than that.
How much?
Probably about 4.
We calculated $500.
Yeah.
Okay, so you couldn't afford the $240 to get well, but you can afford $500 to kill millions of brain cells every day and destroy your life and family. How's that sound?
Crazy.
I really think that people have just turned their backs on her, and that's exactly why I'm trying to help her.
Well, God bless you. Seriously, God bless you for being here and caring about her. Well, Mary used to be able to keep her house clean, but sadly, when drinking becomes your #1 priority, well, actually your number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 priority, it seems like everything else in your life just falls apart. Take a look at this bedroom.
I think Mary's house is disgusting. It's messy, it's unorganized, it kind of smells. The first time I saw her house, it was clear that she had issues, alcohol problems. I had to leave right away. Holy air. This is the first time I've been in here, but this is literally, I guess, really, this is the first time I'm seeing this. Mary, this is crazy.
But this is your real world. This is your life. Look at it on the floor. That's it. That's it. There you go. You were shocked when you saw that, right? Well, I have something really important to show Mary that will hopefully give her a wake-up call. She needs to put down this alcohol and pick up the pieces of her life, because I got to tell you, I am not convinced. There is a precise, specific moment when people are ready to make a change. I'm going to tell you what it is when we come back.
I've seen like so many empty beer cans, and you can like smell it on her breath. The hardest part is like wondering if this is my fault.
Well, I got up about 45 minutes ago. Like, Lori called because she's on her way to an AA meeting and she wanted me to go. And I'm like, I haven't taken a shower yet. Like, I can't go. So I just got up and started drinking. Tomorrow's a Saturday, so I don't have to go to work. So I'll just repeat the same thing tomorrow. Like, just friggin' drink till I pass out. That's what I do.
Well, that was how Mary looks and sounds in the morning compared to how she looks and sounds after 15 beers. Now, Mary's 13-year-old daughter agreed to talk with us about her mom's out-of-control drinking. Now, I want to protect her identity. Most importantly, Mary, I want you to hear what your daughter has to say about your drinking. So watch and listen very, very carefully.
I know she has a drinking problem. I know she's an alcoholic. I've seen like so many empty beer cans and you can like smell it on her breath. When she is drinking, she was like always in a bad mood and she would yell all the time. She would be in charge of like carpooling home from soccer and I would see cans of the kind of beer that she drinks like in front of her car and she'd be like, oh no, that wasn't a drink or anything. But eventually she just told all the other parents on the team about it and now like other people have to drive me home. Then she hit a parked car and the people who owned the car came outside and they started freaking out and they called the cops and it was like a huge mess. I got scared a lot with her, that she would hurt somebody or that she would hurt herself or that she would be drinking and driving, that she would like go to jail. The hardest part is like wondering if this is my fault because when she's stressful, she drinks and I think that it's my fault and that I caused all of this. If she doesn't get help, I think that she's gonna die.
What do you think about what she had to say?
It's the first time I'm hearing that she thinks that it's her fault. It's absolutely not. I didn't realize she felt that way.
Let me tell you something. Children have a unique ability to fill in gaps to their detriment. They fill in, they say, what causes this? Cause and effect, cause and effect. What causes this? They have a way of personalizing that, Mary. They have a way of saying, look, it must be me. You heard her. She even gave you the logic. She said it's the stress, and I cause stress, and she drinks when she's stressed. And what do you think she's going to say to herself for the rest of her life when they come in and find you dead?
She's going to blame herself.
Yeah, you bet she is. Now, before the break, I said I had something important to show Mary. That's your future right there. That's your future. Touch it. Feel it. You haven't seen your daughter for over an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have any idea where she is?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna kill her too? This is your future. Touch this one. You want to see her laying in this box? Look at it. What's it going to take, lady? You going to put her in this box?
No.
She's not yet. But you put her in that car, you drive drunk. This is exactly where she's going to wind up, right in this box. This is exactly where she's going to wind up. How much is enough? Put your hands on it, touch it. This is your future. Your precious child, her brothers can be laying in this box because of what you do. I can tell you the exact second that you're going to stop doing what you're doing. You are going to stop when you are so sick to death of it that you won't take it for another minute, not another second of a given day. Not one more second will you take it. You'll get there when you finally say, I don't care how scary it is to get sober. I don't care how screwed up my life is when I am clear-eyed. I don't care how hard it's going to be. I don't care about my job. I don't care about money. I don't care about anything. I won't have this another minute, another day in my life. That's when you're going to change and not before. I want to go backstage and talk to your daughter. Somebody needs to talk to that kid. She thinks this is her fault. Hopefully, she's going to believe me when I tell her it's not her fault, it's your choice, and you make it every single day. You watch, you listen to every word that is said. put you right back here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to be backstage talking to this precious, innocent child. Right back. Back, and I'm backstage to speak with Mary's daughter Kelly one-on-one about how her mom's drinking has affected her in so many ways. I asked Mary to listen to this very, very closely, so let's go in. Hey, girl.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're calling you Kelly today.
Okay.
You understand why,
Yeah.
right? I've been talking to your mother.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about your mom at this point?
Like, sometimes it's like I don't want to be around her anymore because of all her drinking and stuff. And, like, I just don't want to have to deal with all the drama that comes out of it. And, like, I love my mom, but it's so hard to be around her and, like, have a relationship with her anymore. My mom, like, when she's been drinking, she says things that are, like, personal and that you don't want other people to know. And she's, like, when she drinks, she can get, like, really obnoxious and loud. And I, like, get worried that it's my fault that all this happened. Like, she always used to tell me that she drinks because she's stressed out. And I always think that she drinks because of me or my brothers. I always feel like it's my fault and that I could have done something different.
I'm going to tell you that I know exactly how you feel because I grew up with an alcoholic father, and he was a bad drinker when I was in grade school. He was a bad drinker when I was in junior high and when I was in high school. And, you know, you don't want to bring friends over because you don't know what you're going to find when you get there. I used to go to school sometimes and think that I was different than the rest of the kids, that I wasn't as good as the rest of the kids because I knew that my father was just a train wreck. Mm-hmm. I would feel ashamed of what I was hiding behind my closed door. Mm-hmm. I came to realize that nothing that I was doing could make him choose the things he chose. When he was sober, it was not because of anything I had done. When he was drunk, it was not because of anything I had done. It's got nothing to do with you. If you have any role in this at all, it's to love your mother through all the pain. It's to let her know that there is hope. Let her know that if she cleans her act up, if she turns things around, that you can forgive her and start over. And you can do that, right?
Yeah.
It's not your fault. And what's more important, you can't fix this. That's why I'm here. And I'd like to make a deal where you do your job and I'll do mine.
Okay.
I always told my two boys, they're older than you now, but I always told them they had two jobs. One was to get an education, and two was to have a really good time doing it. I want you to get a good education to prepare yourself for life and have fun along the way. That's your job. My job is to shake some sense into her head. So what do you think about you doing your job and me doing my job?
I think I can do that.
What would that mean to you?
It would mean everything to me if she could get help and start establishing a better relationship with her family, because if she doesn't get better now, then she's not going to have a good relationship with any of us ever again. She's going to lose all of us. Like, I know that she can do it. She just has to try.
You'll be there with open arms when she comes out of all of this. Anything you want to ask me?
Just want to ask if there's anything that you can do.
I'm working on it. And I'm working to give her a wake-up call and get her attention. And let me keep working on it, okay?
All right.
All right? Fair enough?
It's nice to meet you.
All right, good to meet you. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Before the break, I went back and was talking with Mary's daughter, Kelly. I asked you to listen very closely, did you?
I did.
What did you hear her say?
That we don't have a good relationship, that she feels that it's her fault. But we can rebuild a relationship if I can get help and stop drinking.
So what do you want to do here?
I want it to stop.
Really? I know everything that's been going on with you. On the 8th, you were saying you were really down because you're at work and you can't drink. On the 13th, you called one of our producers drunk, talked for 12 minutes. The next day, had no recall of the conversation whatsoever. We came there to shoot with you. You had 4 beers before they arrived at 8 a.m. You drank 17 beers throughout the day. You called our segment director. I'm on the floor, I'm really messed up. I'm not going to drink anymore, I can't even crawl to get another beer. That's your life, right? I mean, that's just a little snapshot. This is a few days that we've been in your world. You've been with me an hour. You haven't yet said one thing about help me, please. I got tens of thousands of emails and letters stacked up that come in constantly. People pleading, begging for help. Dr. Phil, please help me. Please help my family. Yet you're here. You're just looking at your shoes, haven't said one thing.
The reason I'm here...
Am I missing something?
The reason I'm here is to get help. I need this to stop.
So why should I do this? I mean, I got 10... Seriously, why should I help you?
Because I can't help myself.
There are a lot of people can't help themselves. Why should I help you?
For that little girl you just spoke to? I don't want my children to grow up without me, whether it's if I'm dead or whether I've alienated myself from them.
Go on, keep talking. Give your feelings a voice.
I don't want to live like the pathetic person that everybody saw in that video. My biggest concern is those kids.
Do you want them to bury their mother?
No. No, I don't.
Then say it. I do not want to die. I do not want my children to bury their mother.
I do not want to die, and I do not want my children to bury their mother. And I don't want to continue the way everybody just saw me and alienate them.
What's going to happen if you leave here and go back to your life? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I'm afraid to go back to it. I mean, fortunately, I have a friend who's going to do her best to help me, but she's got her own responsibilities. I need advice.
Well, there's somebody I'd like for you to meet. Emily is a recovering alcoholic who's been sober for 2 years. She now runs a website to help other alcoholics called emilyism.com. Her story was recently featured in People magazine. Emily says that she was merry before she got sober. Take a look.
In the beginning, I was definitely just a social drinker. When my dad died, it was really traumatic to me. I just could not handle the pain, and that's kind of when I turned into a daily, every evening drinker. There were days I would start drinking at like 11 o'clock in the morning. I was drinking between 12 and 18 beers a day. I just wanted to sit on the patio and drink beer. Being able to take care of the house and all of the stuff that needs to be done when you're a mom was like impossible for me because I drink all night. Have I driven intoxicated with my kids in the car? Unfortunately, yeah. The fact is that alcoholics drive drunk with their kids in the car. I certainly tried to hide my drinking. I wanted to go to the baseball games, so it started off, we'd just have a beer before the game, to 4 or 5, to being late to the game, because drinking took precedence, and that was like this sneaky little trick that the disease of alcoholism does to you. I got my first DUI while I was still a social drinker. I blew like 1 point above the legal limit. I really remembered how horrible it was, but as my alcoholism progressed, I forgot. My second DUI, I'd been drinking all day. I got in the car and I was off and running, and a policeman pulled out. To have guns drawn and put your hands behind your back, it was horrible. And I just knew, I knew from that second that something major in my life had to change. I have 2 years of sobriety. It is a daily struggle. I work really hard at what I have, and that's absolutely okay with me. Like, that's what gives me my happy and full and neat life.
You've been there.
Yeah.
Emily, what do you have to say to Mary?
Sobriety is really hard. It will be the hardest thing that you ever do.
Did you have doubts whether you could ever turn this around?
Yeah. I definitely had doubts, but I had no idea that sobriety would give me the life that I have today. I had no idea. I hoped I would be as happy as I am, but I got a brand new, blessed life.
You think she's serious?
I don't know. Are you, sweetie? I'll help you.
There is no excuse. There is no higher calling. There is no higher priority than saving your life and saving your children's mother's life. You think about that. We'll be right back.
I am a 43-year-old woman, and I do not hide my drinking from anybody. I am going to choose to get myself a beer now. I'm going to make dinner. I'll probably have a beer while I'm making up whatever I eat for dinner, and I might sit down and have another one after that.
You weren't stopped drinking. You were stopped drunk. And you went to jail for how long last time?
I was in prison for 120 days.
Have you driven drunk with your children in the car?
There was one, yes, there was one occurrence.
I don't doubt that when you're sober, that you are a loving mother, but I also believe you're an alcoholic. I think you need serious help. I will make that resource available to you if you're willing to make that commitment.
Since the day I left Dr. Phil, I've been sober for almost 5 months. It feels really great not having alcohol within my home or in my body. It's just a lot easier to not feel like I need to hide myself from anybody because I'm hiding the smell of alcohol or something like that.
Since my mom stopped drinking, the house has been more organized. We're all able to sit down and have a family dinner.
I do have a complicated future ahead of me for the choices that I've made. Due to the fact that I have received a DWI, I am facing a mandatory 1 year in prison and loss of license. As long as I have a clean and sober mind, I will be able to endure my punishment. I am extremely grateful to the Dr. Phil Show for giving me the opportunity to go to La Hacienda and conquer this problem. From this point on, it's really up to me. My past isn't my calling card. It doesn't have to be my future.
Joni is joining us now via Polycom video. Joni, you look delightful. It's just so good to see you again.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
What do you want to say to Mary?
Well, Mary, you're very blessed to be able to be there now at this moment in your life. You know, as you've heard, I've got a lot of a future ahead of me because of the mistakes that I've made through the law, and it's, you know, you have a lot more hope than you can imagine.
And right now, you're up in the air facing what could be a year-long prison term, correct?
That's right.
And, you know, Mary, you're hearing from other people that have been down the road just like you that have turned this around. You know, Emily's gotten traction. How long sober now, Emily?
2 years.
2 years. Joni, 5 months. You know, she may wind up in prison. You may wind up in one of these caskets we had out here. I don't know. There comes a point in time where you have to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, I make my stand now. I make my stand here. I make my stand now. Have you ever had a better chance?
No, never.
Have you ever had as much love, support, help, caring around you than you have right now?
No.
Your daughter's sitting back there in a room begging me to give you help. Your friend wrote and brought you here. Emily got on a plane, came here to talk to you. I'm here. All of these people are here. Has there ever been a better time than right here, right now?
No, now's the time. Now's the time.
There are moments in time where you make pivotal decisions that determine the outcome of your life, good and bad. Is this one of those moments?
It is. I don't think I'm going to have this opportunity again with the support of my family and friends and the help that I'm asking you to give me.
You've been to rehab before.
Twice.
But you haven't been to rehab like I mean when I say rehab. This is a serious, medically supervised program that requires people to do things that you don't think you can do. But what I know is what's going to happen if you don't. Rich Whitman, the director of La Hacienda Treatment Center in Texas, is on the phone. Now, Rich, you've been listening the entire time, correct?
I have, Dr. Phil.
You've been listening to Mary. Anything you want to say to her?
Mary, as Dr. Phil already pointed out, you've got a ton of excuses, girl. And the one thing you need to know is you don't get to go home and get the sweater. You need to leave the show. You need to come right here. If you don't want to leave the show and come right here, you probably just need to go home because it is that big of a deal. You and I both know if she goes home first, we'll start over. She'll start drinking again. And it's time to begin. And then after we begin here, it's time to kick into an aftercare plan. I know Emily can explain to you hers. I know that that lady has something that she does on a daily basis.
Mary, that is the offer. It is conditional, and it has a time limit. And that condition is now, and that time limit is now. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
We'll be right back. You know, when we started the show today, I said this was one of those times where somebody's life could be saved. I mean, I really hope, whether you're like Mary and you have a problem with this, or that somebody that you love and care about has a problem with this, I hope you hear what we're talking about today. There is no better time than right now. I really want to thank all of my guests for being here today, particularly Rich Whitman at La Hacienda. If you're not in a position where you can get to La Hacienda or a place like it, find something, find that resource in your community. And Keith Nothaker from Backtrack, thank you so much for being here today. And, you know, you may not be aware that you're intoxicated, and that's why these Backtrack things are so important. And in fact, we are, with Keith's generosity, going to send everyone in the studio audience home today with a Backtrack S30 breathalyzer. These are available in retail stores across the country. Put them in your car. If you're out to dinner, you've had a few glasses of wine, get in your car, blow, and see whether or not you're safe to drive. Don't trust your own instinct. Look at the science and see if you are. If you've got kids that are just getting a drinking age and don't know how to gauge this at this point, put it in their car. Let them use it. If you got 4 cars, buy 4 of them. Also, I'm going to put a list of questions on my website to figure out if you or someone you love just might be an alcoholic and haven't acknowledged it yet. You can also log on to drphil.com for more information about this show. You can share your comments with me on my blog at blog.drphil.com, or you can send me your thoughts on Twitter, because I enjoy that dialogue and that conversation. Thank you so much for being here, and good luck to Mary.